6. This is the New Hartford Town Board meeting. And what I'd like to do first is introduce some of the panels, followed by the pledge of allegiance, and then we'll get into our meeting topics. To our far left is our Assessor Government of Nicola. And we have Christine Lacey, our Senior Office Specialist, and from New Hartford Library, our Director, and Ross. And then on the panel here we have Chief Ron Fontaine, and then we have Rick Sherman, our Highway Superintendent. First Ward Councilman Vincent Prestera, Third Ward Councilman Dave Reynolds, Clerk Michelle Moran. To our far right, Councilman for the 2nd District is John Latini, our Town Attorney Herb Cully, Deputy Supervisor and 4th Ward Councilman David Tehan, myself, Council Supervisor Jim Messa. In the audience we have from the media, Daily Sentinel, Alexis Minor, right? And then we have Willowville Fire Chief Tom Smith, and Deputy Clerk is Sue Keller. So thank you all for joining us. If you please stand for allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. We have meeting minutes from November 19th. Everyone had an opportunity to take a look at that. We can have a motion to approve. Motion by John Mattini. Second. I'll second. Second by Councilman Prestera. Discussion on that? And clerk will call for a roll.
Councilman Mattini?
Aye.
Councilman Tehan?
Aye.
Excuse me, Councilman Reynolds?
Aye.
Councilman Prestera?
Aye.
Supervisor Messa? All in favor?
Our January 7th board meeting minutes. A motion to approve. Moved by Councilman Reynolds.
Second.
Second by Councilman Latini. Any discussion? Okay. Clerk Moran, you call for a roll.
Councilman Tehan?
Aye.
Councilman Reynolds?
Aye.
Councilman Prestera?
Aye.
Councilman Mattini?
Aye.
Supervisor Messa?
Aye.
All in favor?
We'll move on to the January 21st board meeting minutes. We have a motion to approve. Moved by Councilman Latini.
Second.
Second by Councilman Reynolds. Discussion? Okay. Clerk, call for roll.
Councilman Reynolds?
Aye.
Councilman Prestera?
Aye.
Councilman Mattini?
Aye.
Councilman Tehan?
Aye.
Supervisor Messa?
Aye.
All in favor?
Jim, I think there's a correction on the first.
For the November 19, I had nay on there.
There was
Oh,
a
you
nay.
said nay?
Yes, for November 19.
Okay.
Thank you. So if you have the sign-in sheet you could bring up?
Yep.
Public comments. Mr. Masood, is this, your comments are going to be for the public, or the local law, right? Solar? When you are, you're going to, not yet, but when it comes for the solar, that's where you said yes for to speak?
I'm here to speak about the solar, yes.
Okay, we'll get to that, yep.
Okay.
I just want to make sure.
You know, your volume is down.
My who?
Volume.
Oh, my volume.
Volume.
Okay. Thank you.
I don't know if you can turn it up or not.
So does anyone wish to address the board with public comments at all? Okay. So we have tonight is a presentation to the town board by CHA Consulting Inc. for a zone change application for residential plan development on 4647 Middle Settlement Road. Good evening. Yeah, it's not mic on there.
That's all right, I'll just speak up. Thank you, good evening. My name is Brian Bouchard. I'm with CHA Consulting. We're the project engineer working on behalf of the applicant and developer, who's also with us today, Charlie Brewer and John O'Brien. And we have submitted an application and the related supporting documents for our requested zone change. We did provide the board with packets of the application documents, and I brought a couple presentation boards here to quickly introduce ourselves, introduce what we're trying to do, and then get your feedback. for the application. So the property is located at 4647 Middle Settlement Road. It's approximately 7 acres of vacant land just south of the Lowe's store at the intersection of Woods Park Drive, so right down the road here. This property is currently in the C1 General Commercial District. In fact, most of the surrounding area is really dominated, as we know, by retail plazas and some of the larger, Sangertown, some of the larger retail stores and shopping centers. And unfortunately, residential uses are not allowed in the C1 commercial district, or actually any of the commercial districts, except for some very particular instances of having residential units stacked on the second floor of some retail space. But generally, residential uses not allowed within the C1 commercial district. So our focus of the zone change is to allow for a residential plan development district specific to this property in order to provide the approval path for a multifamily apartment project, and that's what we're proposing here. Feel that this would be a good fit, obviously, for providing new housing options for the residents in the town. It has close proximity to some of those larger retailers like Lowe's and the department stores and things, and obviously has really good access to and from the highway for a trip to Utica or the freeway as well. While this is a different developer, we do understand that there was a proposal similar to this proposed by a different developer some time ago, and that simply just didn't move forward. It is a similar use with the multifamily apartments, but we feel our plan is a little bit more organized in terms of the layout, has different building styles. We're proposing a little bit more parking, and believe these are essentially improvements to what may have been started with the prior developer that actually fell through. So in your packets, you'll find a copy of the site plan drawing. We provided you the building floor plans and then some architectural renderings to give you a feel of what the project would look like. To walk you through the site plan real quick, essentially it's 3 residential apartment buildings. Each building would be 3 stories. 2 of them have 38 units each, and 1 of them is slightly larger with 44 units. So in total, the project would be proposing 120 new multifamily apartment dwellings within the town. As you can see on the site plan, the site access is a new driveway off Middle Settlement Road in the center of the property. As part of our conceptual planning, we did engage with a traffic consultant to review the driveway configuration, and he had some comments related to site distance and slope of the roadway with the curve of the roadway there. So we did locate the driveway in an appropriate area based on his recommendations into and out of the site to control traffic circulation and turning movements onto Middle Settlement Road. You can also see in the center would be the parking areas. There is some grade change where the back of the site is slightly higher than the road, so you can see how this would allow for some terracing with those landscape areas, kind of breaking up the parking area, not only for green space, but to allow different grades within the parking area to make up some of the topography that we have. The bulk regulations for what we would be proposing for the residential plan development district are shown in the zoning table in the upper left-hand corner of your document. I will say, if it's too small to read, that generally we have picked bulk regulations that match the majority of the other residential districts within the town. So things like the front, side, and rear setbacks are very similar to some of the other residential districts. We're still providing compliant green space and lot coverage and building height. In terms of parking, our project is a mix of 1-bedroom and 2-bedroom apartments. So there's no larger apartments in terms of 3 or 4 beds. And I say that because with the 1 and 2 bedrooms, we're about a 60% 1-bedroom and 40% 2-bedroom. So we've kind of catered our parking calculation here to the expectation of the number of beds in the project. And you'll see that we're proposing 1.75 spaces per dwelling unit. So it's 1.75 spaces per dwelling unit. So essentially we have 120 apartments that are proposed within the project, and we're providing 216 spaces. So we feel like this is enough space.
For parking.
For parking, yep. Some of the other things that you do see on the site plan are some of the site components to accommodate trash with the dumpster enclosures, snow storage areas within the islands, medians, and to the east and west of the parking lot. We are showing sidewalk connections for the residents to maneuver around the site, both between the apartments, to and from the parking fields, and then also circulation to and from the community building that's labeled as a clubhouse. on your plan. That clubhouse that you can see sort of in the lower right-hand corner would have, it'd be a supporting space for the project, right, to form an apartment community. So it would have a variety of amenities, and we showed you the floor plan in the packet, including a community room, gathering space, there's a fitness center. There would also be a leasing office there and a manager's office for the property manager, for staff. And then you can see we've saved some space for some outdoor amenities as well, for patio and seating areas and a playground for the residents to use there as well. And then the last few pages are the architectural renderings to give you a feel of what the buildings would look like, and also the clubhouse here. So really our intent is to present this to you, right? We applied for the zone change, we provided some of the documents. The first step in the process that I'm sure you're familiar with is to make this presentation and get your feedback. Ultimately, the town board is the decision-making body for a zone change, and typically the process would be to get your comments, feedback, address any of it that we may need, or hopefully be referred to the planning board for their review of the zone change, which would then come back by way of recommendation to this board.
So let me ask you, market value, price-wise, they're just gonna be priced like market value? Like
Yeah, market rate, yep.
Market rate, whatever the rate is.
Correct.
Surrounding area.
Yep,
So,
exactly.
they look very nice to me. As far, that's the clubhouse,
That's the clubhouse, yeah.
and you said there's a total of 120 apartments?
120 apartments.
Okay. And it looks like you got some green space in the parking lot over here between the parking.
Yeah, we provided for 66% lot coverage, which would be the balance of that, would be the remaining open space. So we have broken up the parking lot. We have plenty of setbacks in terms of complying with the building setbacks, so there's space enough to have some of those outdoor recreation areas and landscaping in the parking lot so that it's not too congested.
Okay.
You okay with me asking some questions?
Sure.
I'll call your attention, you've probably seen our code as it relates to 118-35, 36, and so on, dealing with planned development districts. The first part indicates that the whole procedure was established to provide flexible land use and design regulation through the use of performance criteria. It enables site-sensitive development and innovative design and development. I'd like to have you address that. The other part is, as to residential PDD, it's intended to provide for creative development, which provides for a variety of housing types and styles for a variety of income levels. And in the past, some developers come in with walking trails. I see you already have a community room or rec room, which is a great plus. Any other amenities for the residents and the issue of creative design that you could briefly adjust?
Yeah, I think part of that goes along with both aesthetics, right, and creative design. So we have picked, the unit count and the distribution that I mentioned, right? Primarily 60% 1 beds to 2 beds. This is a differentiator in terms of what could be offered to town residents for a different housing option. Architecturally, I think this is probably a little bit different than a standard apartment building that may already be existing in the town in terms of an elevated design and being creative in that way. Not a lot of projects have 7 acres, so a standalone apartment building is great to provide that housing aspect to the town, but being able to form a community is where we've tried to capture that planned development district intent. So not only having the residents live here, but having space to, not necessarily in their apartment, but have a birthday party or something in the community room and having amenities in that way. Providing things for kids if it's, family.
Yeah, you mentioned playground
Yep.
area.
So playground and connections like that. The outdoor amenity space typically is formed by way of outdoor patio seating, so you can enjoy the outdoors without having to sit in your apartment, obviously, and this property can allow for that because there is so much green space. And also some of the other ones that we've designed within that outdoor amenity space could be something like a multi-sports court, right? Pickleball, everybody loves pickleball. So having activities like that and having a dedicated spot for like dog walking are the things that we would typically provide to form what's really a community and not just an apartment project. And that's why we've applied for the planned development district.
Thank
aspect.
you. That's a big help. I think that covers it. Thank you.
And the presentment looks to me like it's 3 floors, right?
They're all 3-floor buildings, yes.
Okay.
They're basically identical, except the bottom one that you see is slightly longer, just because there was
Yep.
space to fill that out. So
Gotcha.
there's two that are 38 units, and the one that's labeled a slightly larger building is the one that's 44.
I gotta ask you one question, just because it seems like a lot of these community developing places like this, sometimes they put swimming pools in. I was just wondering, is there a possibility that you guys may want to put a swimming pool in, or, you know?
Some of them do. It's
You
hard to
said
think about
something
in the
about
winter,
playground,
you know?
I didn't know if that was something
I know.
that.
We have enough.
That's something we.
Yeah, we have.
Okay, is it like a liability thing or something, or, yeah?
Department of Health.
Because the older apartment houses, like I know Wedgewood and stuff, they got like a swimming pool in the back of theirs at Genesee Street.
Yeah.
I was just asking a question.
There is another layer of like regulation, right, because it now becomes a public swim, or the Department of Health rules and water
Yeah,
quality and stuff.
gotcha.
And then just the idea that you can only use it a couple months out of the year.
Yeah.
The space is better used for,
Yeah.
things that people can use, you know,
Yeah,
throughout the.
I'm not saying that to see one, I was just wondering if you guys.
Not planned, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Talk about your stormwater management area.
Yeah, stormwater management, so obviously this is just an engineering control mechanism to take what is the existing condition of the runoff from the site. Obviously, we're adding things like roof leaders, parking lots, and catch basins. All of the impervious area by New York State requirements, right, the permit from the New York State DEC requires us to design a system that collects and manages all of the runoff from the site and treat and manage that in the stormwater management area. So as I said, the topography is higher in the back of the site and lower in the front. There is a little bit of a drainage way that is off the property, kind of at the intersection, which I think comes from the Lowe's store. So we've put it in the bottom side of the site, right, everything flows downhill. And that would be an exterior stormwater pond that would treat both the water quality and the quantity during storm events to the 110 and 100-year storm.
All right, so you're proposing an actual pond.
Correct. Yep.
I'm sure Rick will have some input, because we know there's a, I want to call it a creek, to the north of that property. I don't know if there's your creek or who's,
I think it's part of the Oak Tree.
okay. But you're proposing an open
Correct.
pond, if you will.
Yep.
Is that secured in any way?
There are very detailed requirements that are required to create a stormwater pond. So there's benching on the side walls of the pond. Sometimes, as I think you're getting to, is like a fence would be
Yeah, exactly.
provided by the fence. And there are requirements for that, yeah.
And also I see dumpsters at either end of the parking lot for hundreds of apartments. Is that adequate? I'm sure the zoning board is gonna, the planning board will address those too, but it just looks like, unless they're gonna pick up every other day.
Yeah, so this would be private waste management, right? This isn't picked up by the town, so this would be.
No, I understand.
Private, yeah, you're just saying. And yes, there are 2 dumpster corrals, so there's 2 6-yard dumpsters in each corral. We position them so that they're convenient to get to without having maybe to put 3. We've kind of cited the 2 there between the apartments, kind of off the walking areas. This is what we would typically provide for 120 dwelling units. If there are comments, we have plenty of space to add another dumpster corral if we needed to. But you're right, it's basically, you know, are you getting picked up once a week and maybe you need
Right.
3 corrals? Or does the service come twice a week and, you know, the space that we have is adequate? But that's a fair point, yeah.
You mentioned children. The only caveat is the number of bedrooms, am I right? In other words, there's no age limit or age
No,
restriction?
yeah, it's not age restricted, right?
Could there be elevators in the buildings?
Yes. Yeah, there's, on the first floor, basically center to each building, there's an entrance lobby where you have the option to go up the stairwell or the elevators, and then you have a double loaded corridor, which is very typical of all 3 floors, yeah.
Just to address, I think you mentioned the driveway. It used to have 2 in the previous drawing from the previous company. You're proposing just one?
Correct, yes. There was issues with the preliminary issues, right? We had a traffic consultant walk out there and look at the site distances, and he felt like one driveway in the center offered the best site distance. It offers 1 point to come in, 1 point to come out. You split the driveways up and you have competing turning movements. So that's why we changed it to the 1. I do know that there's also fire code requirements in terms of what we can coordinate through the planning board with the fire chief and his review of it. You know, I'm familiar with Appendix D of the fire code in terms of us being 3-story buildings. If we exceed the 30 feet, we have to provide aerial access, and we have all of the aerial access requirements in terms of the staging areas and the 26-foot driveway shown throughout the plan. 2 means of ingress and egress for a fire truck are required once you get beyond 199 dwelling units. So we fall within the ability to still get emergency responders in here and also control traffic by having 1 driveway and not 2 split up.
Are you making it any wider than the cutout is, or are you keeping it the width of the cutout?
The cutout,
Kyle, he's probably talking about the ends, those are the actual entrances on both ends, right? There's only one entrance.
there's only 1 driveway and it's, I think it's 30 feet, so it's a little bit wider than a typical driveway, if
Okay.
that's what you're asking.
Yes, Roger.
Yep.
And then, last question, or not really a question, just a statement. So the previous board presentation for this area had about 10 units, right? Is that about right? Or 10 buildings? 10 buildings, yeah.
It had 10 buildings, coincidentally, I think it was 120 units as well, though, but they were split up, 3-story buildings, smaller buildings, and there was like 10 of them or something, yeah.
So this is a little bit, again, in my opinion, the footprint looks a little bit more,
Parking is better.
yeah,
Yeah, I think
parking,
so.
just the overall aesthetics, it just seems
I
like
agree,
it
Dave.
fits versus when it was multi-10 going around or so. That's why I.
Yeah, from a site planning perspective, I think you're right, because if you had those 10 buildings, it's the same 120 units, but it was a ring road, and all of the parking was on that road, and it was a curve. So if you did have kids or other people that were trying to cross the street and do other things, they had very little opportunity to provide crosswalks in the parking areas and some of the things that we've accommodated here. And also grading plays into sort of the footprints and the space that we have too. So
Well, I think
appreciate it.
I think the idea of the three floors kind of compacts it, so it's a lot better to get more parking that way too,
Yes,
because of, the way the buildings are set up. No, I think
and green space by consolidating the two, there's
Yeah.
less impervious.
Did you say you've talked to DOT? The planning board is gonna obviously require some input from DOT because of the access. Have you talked to them?
We have not talked to DOT,
Okay,
no,
okay.
it was just the
Okay.
traffic consultant that would be
Right.
part of our team to get.
That was your traffic.
Yeah, due diligence done to make sure that we were presenting something that was feasible from our mind. And understandably, there's a process to go through, whether it's as part of the zone change necessarily, or whether it's that the zoning and uses is appropriate, and then we get into
Right,
the
understood.
permitting with site plan approval, yeah.
Understood, yep.
Guys got any other questions?
Questions, Rick, no?
Just, what do you think about area movement in
Yeah, the fire chief's gonna have to comment on this too. Aerial device, you mentioned it. It looks good, it looks okay, but we're gonna need his input also.
Yeah, sirens blazing, you have a center drive aisle that has, full access all the way to the back of the site without having to navigate, so that was purposeful.
Right.
And if, during the planning board review, if I get a cut sheet of his aerial truck, whether it's a mid-mount or rear mount, I can run trimming movements for that and adjust any of the islands if we need to as well. Mid-mount.
Without looking at it, what is the actual height of the buildings?
Height of the buildings,
Like rooftop to the bottom?
I don't know if I have that off the top of my head unless it's labeled on the elevation. There's pitches to the roof, but probably if it's, 9-foot ceilings and some structure and then the pitched roof, it's probably 40 feet, right?
40 feet?
I think we said 45 is the maximum on our plan,
Yeah.
but as the architecture develops, I'm sure we'll be able to hammer out that number, but.
It's probably something, Dave, that the chief would probably want to know too, right? I mean, the area.
Yeah, these are very similar to the Meadows apartments. Almost identical to the Meadows that we deal with on a regular basis.
I think it looks like a good project overall.
Anything else you like to add, Brian, or?
No, that's just, maybe the last is just what we have to do from here. If the board's willing and has enough information to send us to the planning board, or what the next step in the process is would be helpful if we could, Mr. Supervisor.
No, I think you did great. Yeah, so board, if you'd like to move this to planning board, we'll make a motion.
Well,
Or do you want-
what we want to do is initially, you're going to determine that the application meets the criterion to be submitted to the planning board for site plan review, you're going to declare lead agency and ask that the planning board assist you with seeker and make a seeker recommendation, because you ultimately have to make the final seeker determination. And you want to actually refer it.
The parking, would that fall short of the town codes as it stands on
That's
paper?
George, I don't count parking
What do you mean?
spaces.
Well, I think there are two,
Well,
according
if
to
it's
the
planned
town code.
development, there may be an ability to adjust, that they can grant variances.
Right, I'm just saying it's probably gonna, may need a.
Do you know what our,
I know that your parking code for a standard multifamily apartment project that would otherwise be allowed in the HDR is 2 spaces per dwelling unit, regardless of whether it's a 1, 2, 3, or 4 bedroom, right?
Right.
And my understanding is correct with Herb's, is that as a planned development, we establish and prepare for you a set of bulk regulations that would be the zoning rules for this particular piece of property. And that's memorialized on the zoning table, including the 1.75 spaces per dwelling unit that
So
we're asking.
1.75 is short of 2 spaces, is that what you're telling me?
Correct, yeah.
they can grant a variance, the planning board can grant a variance.
So we can get, right,
They don't have to go to the zoning board.
right. Because the last one was like 1.5, I
It
think.
was 1.5, you're right.
Wasn't it?
Yeah.
Dick? Yeah, I remember. But, so,
So with that being said, right here, we're,
Yeah. If the board's okay, you gotta take a vote.
yep, I'll do it. So motion by Councilman Latini, do we have a second? Second. Second by Councilman Cristera, discussion? Clerk Brand, call for roll.
Councilman Dean,
aye.
Councilman Fian,
Aye.
Councilman Reynolds,
Aye.
Councilman Cristera,
Aye.
Supervisor Mesa,
Aye.
all in favor.
Thank you very much.
Thank
Thanks
you
to the
guys,
board.
great presentation.
Thanks to the staff for helping us with the application process.
presentation.
We'll make the presentation to the planning board and bring back any of their recommendations to you, hopefully in a next meeting or two.
And like Councilman Tehan mentioned, I'm sure we can make adjustments, parking or whatever.
Yeah. That's fine.
Okay.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you guys.
Thank you.
Thank you, gentlemen. Have a great night.
That's okay.
It's all the noise out here.
Are you going to find these trees there?
Yeah, we'll have a landscape plan.
Christmas trees.
Christmas trees. We're gonna put some Christmas trees there, Omar. That's what they want.
Some honorary apple trees too, right?
Get his card, get his card.
Okay.
All right, so now we're gonna move on to the public hearing for large-scale energy systems moratorium. Have a motion to open the public hearing.
Motion.
Motion by Councilman Latini. Second. Second by Councilman Tehan. Any discussion?
Councilman Dean,
Aye.
Councilman Reynolds, Councilman Cristera,
Aye.
Councilman Latini,
Aye.
Supervisor Mesa,
Aye.
all in favor.
Do you want to read the,
Yeah, so this is a local law that is being considered by the town, and the purpose of the local law is to declare a 6-month temporary moratorium on the issuance of building permits, special permits, and site plans by the town of New Hartford for approval, construction, establishment, and operation of any additional large-scale solar energy systems within the town. And it sets forth our legislative findings and intent. We've had a couple matters that have involved litigation, and the courts have been somewhat critical of our current ordinance, because what the current ordinance provides is that these large-scale facilities are only allowed in areas designated by the Town of New Hartford Board to be appropriate. And the court is of the feeling that they should establish set areas in ordinance, and that's what we want to look at. One of the biggest problems we've had, and the board members know this, we had public hearings on Chapman Road Solar, Roberts Road Solar, and what we have found, or what I've seen, is that where these big solar farms are permitted, and they happen to abut residential where they're not allowed in residential, that creates a huge concern for residents. Specifically, I remember Chapman Road, because the area they were proposing, it was residential agriculture and would be permitted, but it abuts residential on multiple sides. And you recall we had hundreds of people at the public hearing. So all this does is it stops everything for 6 months to allow us, and by law, we can't just stop and sit. We actually have to go forward, hire a consultant, or create a committee to take further steps to amend our ordinance and determine what is reasonable. So this is a public hearing to determine if we should go forward as it is or modify it. You gotta open the public
Yeah,
hearing.
so we called we opened the public hearing. Now, if anyone who wish to speak, go ahead, Mr. Masuga, you wanted to speak on the solar?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
Come on right up, sir.
I got approached by a solar energy company, and do I tell them, well, hang on for 6 months, or we can't do it? Do you have to get in concert with the town on their requirements? The site they chose, if a neighbor stood on their roof, you couldn't see it. Okay? So it might, as far as that residential problem, it's non-existent where they chose it. So I don't know whether to continue talking to these people, or,
Yeah, I mean, I would,
Can I respond?
you go ahead.
Okay, so the statute that we're proposing to enact says that if you sign a moratorium acknowledgement in a form approved by me that conforms that the applicant is aware of the moratorium, then you can go ahead and begin to process the application. So that you don't lose time. You should give this to them, but you understand that if we change the ordinance and all of a sudden solar is not allowed, it's not on the town. So there is that provision, and there's a hardship provision that says if this is going to cause you dire financial harm, you can apply for consideration. But I think if you give this to them, because these solar companies take a long time, and obviously you have to be very, very careful in dealing with them. I'm in lawsuits right now on 2 that are in Herkimer. And a lot of the solar companies have slowed down the whole process, but if you want to let them know, they can get in touch with us and they can start the process as long as you understand there's no guarantee that we don't change the law.
no problem there.
Does that answer it, Omar?
That answers my question.
Yeah.
So I'll just tell them, keep going.
Would
So-
you like this?
He's gonna give you a copy,
Would you like
Okay.
it?
Omar, so this way, they'll look at it and make you understand it more.
Or there's copies on the table.
Okay.
You know what I mean? And then you will take it from there. It's basically what I think Herb's trying to say.
Yep.
You know, Mother,
Right there.
But,
I'm a green environment guy.
yeah, I know you are.
Every acre of Christmas trees provides oxygen for 1 year for 800 people. I've been doing this for 55 years.
You got a nice piece of property.
I'll read it because it won't.
I always admire your property. It's beautiful up there.
55 years.
Thank you.
All right?
You're not gonna take them all down now, are you?
No, no. 420 acres, I'm not worried about it.
Omar, I don't want to get ahead of us, but does this impact your tree farm? I mean, does it compromise that at all?
Not a bit,
Okay, yeah.
not even.
Just curious.
No, I could never plant 420,000 trees and sell them in 1 year.
You wouldn't mind though.
I mean, as long as they're in concert with the town,
Yeah.
rules and regulations, they should be,
What Herb was
they should
saying,
be happy with that.
yeah, well, what Herb was saying to you,
It
You know.
it came on us very strong because of the site.
right, oh, absolutely, you got a nice piece of property.
The site does not require any privacy whatsoever. You could drive by it and not know it was there. That's why they chose it.
Right.
Yeah, I can
And it's close
understand that.
proximity to a substation too.
Right, there's no, you don't have any substantial residents around you that are, you know, like rows of houses or anything?
Nothing, zero,
Okay.
zero.
See, we had a similar situation off of Tilden, where actually Mr. Salerno owned the property, and he had tons of acres in the back that nobody's gonna see, but below his house, we had, a lot of residential people that were against it.
The only way you can see this property, the farm there, the solar project, if you trespass.
Right.
You'd have to,
Gotcha.
then I'll have them arrested.
I understand.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Okay.
Anyone else like to speak?
I have,
Solar,
I have a question.
your question?
Omar, how many acres are they proposing for you?
35.
35 acres? Just curious.
Be careful what you say to her, she'll adjust your assessment. I wouldn't abandon
Summer's
that.
wrong.
Give or take. Change.
It'll take 30 acres.
Anyone else?
Nope.
Okay. At this time, a motion to close the public hearing. Motion by Councilman McKean. Second. Second by Councilman Prestera. Discussion.
Jim, do you want to know your committee reviewed this and was in favor of it?
Yes, so, during the minutes, we did establish a committee, review the document, and
We have several meetings.
Oh, you know, it's worth noting.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Right.
Councilman Fitzgerald?
Aye.
Councilman Reynolds? Councilman Tian?
Aye.
Councilman Latini?
Aye.
Supervisor Massa?
Aye.
All in favor?
Sir, yeah, you came in late. Did you need public comment or anything?
No, I did not.
Okay, I don't, all right, so. All right, so now we'll move on to.
No, you didn't.
Oh,
You just closed the public hearing. You need a motion to either approve or deny or table the local law.
I'll move it to approve the local law.
Motion by Councilman Reynolds, second.
Second.
Second by Councilman Tian. Discussion? Okay. Clerk, are you ready for the roll?
Councilman Latini?
Aye.
Councilman Tian?
Aye.
Councilman Reynolds?
Aye.
Councilman Prestera?
Aye.
Supervisor Massa?
Aye.
All in favor?
Everyone have opportunity to look at the vouchers. We have a motion to approve.
Motion.
Motion by Councilman Latini. Second.
I'll second.
Second by Councilman Prestera. Discussion? And clerk, you ready for a roll?
Councilman Tian?
I would abstain on the one payment for Adirondack Bank, please.
Councilman Reynolds?
Aye.
Councilman Prestera?
Aye.
Councilman Latini?
Aye.
Supervisor Massa?
Now we'll move on to matters submitted by the town supervisor. I do apologize, this is lengthy, I'll go pretty quickly. So we did have a longtime employee, Barb Swinswire, that retired after 25 years of service. We thank her for her work. She wore multiple hats here in the town. So her last day was on Friday, so we wish her all the best in her retirement. That being said, we posted a position on the Town of Hartford website and with the Oneida County site as well. We're anticipating some interviews, and that will be conducted by the Personnel Committee, which would be consisted of Councilman Teahan and Councilman Reynolds. So when those applications come through, we'll forward them on to you, and you guys can coordinate those and pass them on to the board. That would be great. Hopefully with a goal of filling that position by mid-March. Might be aggressive, but that's what we're looking at this point.
Can I ask what the salary's gonna be, or you don't, you haven't said yet?
We'll get with the committee.
Okay.
But,
I thought maybe it was posted. Okay.
I don't think we posted the actual salary. Good question on that. And then we'd like to add Councilman Dave Reynolds as additional signer for the checks to the financial institutes that we approved in the organizational meeting. So I have a motion to approve.
No motion.
Motion by Councilman Latini, second.
I'll second.
Second by Councilman Prestera. Discussion? Clerk, will you call for a roll when you're ready?
Councilman Dettini,
Aye.
Councilman Teahan,
Aye.
Councilman Reynolds,
Yeah,
Councilman Prestera,
Aye.
Supervisor Massa.
Aye. And,
I don't think I have to abstain.
no.
I think I should acknowledge if I voted for it.
Yeah. And then, Councilman Reynolds, worked with Christina, she'll get you connected with Adirondack Bank and,
So, I wasn't sure what the intention was, if it's only to sign checks, which is what you have here, you just need to not make any other investment, right, it's just checks.
I mean,
Because there was, I think it was twofold in the org meeting.
yes, there was, it's secondary.
Yeah.
This one's for checks.
Checks, okay, perfect.
Thanks for clarification. Next, item number 3, just advise the community that the town of Hartford has been selected by the New York State Comptrollers to conduct an audit, so that's underway. And they are on the premise, and they're doing a more or less a preliminary assessment, and then we'll move it on to conducting their audit based on that. Number 4 on the list here from New Hartford Central School District. As most of you know, they occupy some space in our building, and they're one of our tenants. So I did receive a phone call from the superintendent of schools, Mr. DePiece, and also received a letter. I shared it with the board members, but also read it to everyone here as well. So, you know, dear Mr. Jim Messer and town board, on behalf of the New Hartford Central School District, I would like to extend our sincere gratitude to the town of Hartford for the partnership and collaboration we have shared over the years at the Orchard. We deeply value the relationship between the school district and the town, and we are especially appreciative of the generosity you have shown in providing office space at the Orchard. We recognize that we have been receiving an exceptional arrangement, and we are truly thankful for your ongoing support. Unfortunately, the district is currently facing significant financial challenges. To right-size our budget and ensure the responsible stewardship of our resources, we must make several difficult decisions regarding our expenses and operations. After careful consideration, I have decided to bring our employees currently working at the Orchard back to the district facilities at a cost-saving measure. We have begun planning for the transition and anticipate moving our staff out of the Orchard by the end of June. We are grateful for the town's generosity and the spirit of collaboration that has characterized our time in this shared space. I look forward to our continued partnership as we work together to serve the New Hartford community. Thank you once again for your support and understanding. This is signed by Joseph DePiece, Superintendent of Schools. Again, I applaud them for their efforts and being good stewards. Also, make a note that in their time here, they've been excellent tenants, and I don't even think we even knew they were here, to be honest with you. So it will be a hit for us, but we'll look forward to looking at other arrangements for other tenants in the coming months. So It'll be out by the end of June, so they did give us 5 months, actually 5.5, which I really appreciate. That's more than generous on their behalf.
Is that when your contract ends? Yep.
They were month to month.
Month to month, oh, right, to work. Okay.
So,
That's good. I didn't realize that. I thought they had like a year-to-year contract. Good to know. Thank you.
you're welcome. Good question. Number 5, security enhancements. Just to give you guys updates, we worked with the Chief Fontaine about additional security for the town hall, rec center, working with Councilman Reynolds there, and John Randall. And also, we're probably looking at putting some additional cameras at the animal shelter. Again, I'll be monitored and so forth. So just to give you an update, that's what we're looking at. Again, it's just all about safety of all of our buildings and personnel. Number 6, just to give an update, the first 30 days was extremely busy, and we've had a number of things that transpired. So I just want to share with everyone here that what kind of went down. So we had a number of meetings, and in attendance we had Deputy Supervisor and Councilman David Tehan, and also Christina Lacey. So the biggest issue that we're facing this year is trying to get a hold of our financial situation. So in our January 7th meeting, we signed the acknowledgement letter to move forward with Bonadito. They had 2 staff members on site, and we were here for a full day. We had several Teams calls afterwards, and it was really good relationship and partnership that we have with them. We also had a Teams call with financial advisors with Bonadito, Christina and Deputy Tehan. Again, just to go over debt services, review our bans, renewal that may be coming up, actually is coming up in April. We discussed also our credit watch and reinstating our S&P rating. So the projected timeline on that would be 2027 for that. I don't know if Councilman Teen, if you have anything added to that particular section.
For the ban, we definitely have to renew it in April. We did the ban in the later part of April in '25, which was a 12-month commitment. You have 2 options at that point. One is to re-ban, or the second is to go out for a bond. In the budget, what we put in for '26 is to go out for another ban. So we'll be going out for another 12-month period. Once we organize all that, identify what the amounts are, the board will have to approve it once again, and then we'll go through our support individuals at Bonadito. They will liaise with us and fiscal advisors. They'll put together the prospectus and then put it out to bid. For the ban, we don't need a rating, which is good in this situation. For a bond, given that we haven't had a rating in a couple of years at that point next year, and since the last rating took place in '21, they'll have to go out and get a rating, which will entail entire process, additional funding, things of that nature to get it back.
Dave, just to ask a quick question. Since our '23 audit is done now, right, so did are we still in the credit watch, or is?
Yeah, we're still on credit watch until we get the ratings back. And honestly, even though the '23 audit is done, we're still 2 years behind.
So we got 24 and 25.
Yeah, so our goal this year is to get caught up completely with the audits.
Which you're
Which would
talking
be-
about next.
Yeah, which would be ideal as we go into next year for the bond.
So nice segue into another meeting that we held. That was with Drescher and Malecki. There are 2 staff members, and we discussed and outlined our audit for 2024 and also 2025. We put some timelines out there for, and they may be a little aggressive, but I think we need to establish that they're aware of it. We're looking to complete 2024's audit by end of April, and then move into 2025, and hope to have that done by August of 2026. So what that will do for us is help us for planning for 2027's budget as well. So we'll actually know where we stand, and as Councilman Tian mentioned, we'll be caught up. So I think that's a big initiative this year for the town, again, is having better handle on our finances. Any questions from the board members on any of that?
With the 23s done,
Yep.
let me ask you gentlemen, was there a record of the fund balance in there? Should have been, I would think, or no, Dave, not yet. 23, I was just wondering.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to do
We
that
don't
until
have
we
to
do the
discuss it,
other.
and I was just wondering if there was an idea, because again, they were discussing, I don't have an idea yet, because he said there were certain things that were.
Yeah,
right,
it's,
Yeah.
I mean, they can show you the number, but again, from.
Yeah, no, I was
Yeah.
just curious, if we had
Yeah,
an
I'll circle
idea.
back around with you on those
Me and Dave
numbers.
were discussing it back the other day. Okay, no problem.
Also, again, we had, got more meetings. We met with High Street Insurance. Again, what we're looking to do there is begin the year off with a review of all of our insurances and which was brought up too by Councilman Tehan, is the animal shelter as being added to the policy. And then also, they'll be going out and looking at other carriers to see if we get better pricing. So it's good to do that from time to time. Again, it's like great shopping. So again, if that's an area for us to save some money, that we're going to be doing that. So, and we're going to have quarterly meetings with them. So as things change as far as assets for us, and mainly it's probably the PD and highway garage that usually has most of the equipment. So it's a good thing to do that so that we're able to keep current on the coverages and so forth. So again, I appreciate Councilman Tehan and Christina Lacey's time during all those meetings. So it was very beneficial. In addition, the three of us also and the Highway Superintendent Rick Sherman met with Oneida County regarding funding and some projects that are that they provided grants. So it was a good way of kind of checks and balances to see where are we on our projects that they provided funding for, and also look at future projects as well. So it looks as though everything's on point with that. We're submitting some documentations that they require, so they can furnish us some reimbursement on those. And the other ones, retention pond on Hughes and Roman Road. We're looking at completing that this year as well. We got an extension at the end of last year to have that completed. We have funding that's set aside for that as well. We also discussed downtown Chadwick's. They provided us funding for that in the neighborhood of $454,000 and some change.
Remaining, yes.
Remaining, so out of $500,000. Right?
Yeah, about 510, I think 512.
So, so we have plans to look at that, and that's important because we also have $500,000 towards that. So with Rick, we're looking to map out some things that make sense. We have, like I said, close to $1 million, and we've had renderings and other things that we have. We just have to map out and see what's the best avenue to take to
Start the project.
start the project, but also spend the money wisely and figure out what's the best way to address that.
Was there a certain timeline on that, Jim, that we may, there's not a possibility we could lose any funding, is there?
Once we start spending, we're okay, as long as we're moving forward with it.
Okay.
We're okay.
They won't pay for that, okay.
But they encourage, it's a great question, because they encourage us to keep moving on that, so we don't lose it.
Yeah, we don't lose it. I agree.
Next, Councilman Tehan and myself, we met with representatives from Governor Hochul's office, and it was a great meeting where we discussed grant opportunities and also a partnership and relationship with them. They will assist us with if things get stuck in the process, to give them a call, be able to navigate that through for us. Also, we discussed natural disasters. If anything happens in our area, that pretty much give them a call first, so we have a point of contact. And also, they're proactive too, so we received an email in the last storm and forwarded that on to our highway superintendent in regards to, because it was declared a state of emergency, so Rick was keeping track of all the expenses associated with that. So we can submit that to them as well. Do you want to add anything from the meeting?
No, I think it was a great meeting. They're very supportive. I think there's going to be good opportunities for the town to take part in grants that we might not have been aware of in the past. So as soon as they add us to that distribution, they'll be able to give us that information. We'll have to work internally and determine how we can get those grants written. But they can certainly help us once we get the process and
So,
submit.
state money?
Right.
What about county? Nothing with the county?
Not for this meeting. I mean, we had talked to, as Jim mentioned previously, the county representatives. They did commit grant dollars to the town, but we have to do the work. We have to submit the evidence of disbursements, and they'll certainly reimburse us sooner than later.
Yeah. So, but again, they appreciated the meeting. They had mentioned they really haven't had any type of discussion like this with previous administrators. So this was great. They were excited. I'm excited. Again, they're going to be a great resource for us. We talked about grant writers and things of that nature, and also being prepared for particular grants. We talked about stormwater. We talked about Parks and Rec grants. So there are funds out there, which is it's encouraging, and they're going through, I think, another round coming up for particular funding. So again, having, like I said, that resource available to us to partner with, so we'll be in the know. All they said is give us a phone call, tell us what you're looking to do, and we'll see if we can guide you in the right direction. So I think that was, again, very positive meeting today. Number 9 on the list, sorry. So after the first month, I'd like to just kind of look internally to all of our contracts that we have, and then with various vendors, and see if we can go up to RFP, see if there's any other additional ways to save money or find different things. So I'll be looking at that in the coming month. Number 10, again, last year we talked about the Association of Towns. We did vote, there's a few people going. It is in New York City this year, February 15th through the 17th. I wasn't sure if anyone's going to be able to attend this year at all. If you'd like to, we'll just reaffirm it today. I don't know if Herb, you wanted to go at all, or?
I'd like to go, but I just can't.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of hard because we didn't really have the dates last year. And things kind of changed around, so.
Who's going?
No one, as far as I know. Okay. So we'll plan better next year on that. So I'd like to have some representation there. Rick, you didn't want to go, right? No. Okay. So number 11, we did have some general security maintenance agreements. I'm just going to table that to next month, only because I want to review some of these other contracts and arrangements.
Is this the one that we already have in?
You do. So I just want to just look at some things, maybe we can couple it together.
Okay. Sounds good.
Next we have Dory Shaw, notary license renewal for 4 years, and the cost is $60. Need a motion for that?
Motion.
Yes.
Motion by Councilman Martini, second by Councilman Roberts. Discussion?
Councilman Prestera?
Aye.
Councilman Reynolds?
Aye.
Councilman Fian?
Aye.
Councilman Matini?
Aye.
Supervisor Massa?
Aye.
All in favor?
Number 13, so confidential secretary Christine Martin, worked on a few things I just want to bring to the board's attention. So she's looking at and working on reformatting our website. When you look at it, everything was, I think, right justified, so now it's cleaned up there. She's also going through each individual links in there, cleaning things up. There's some duplications. Again, I think that site just needed some overall maintenance, and she's invested a lot of time into cleaning that up and making it, again, user-friendly for our constituents. She also drafted up the town crier monthly announcement, which we saw in this latest edition. She did a great job on that. She's been meeting with various department heads and reviewing processes. Again, just helping out in ways of seeing if there's any efficiencies, things of that nature as well. Also, she was working with Barb prior to her leaving and documenting some of her daily work, which we think that was essential for the incoming new person that would replace her. And also, she assisted with inquiries from the website. So we have a report of concern on there, which we've been getting a fair amount of traffic from residents, which is fantastic. So they're seeing that, they're using that, and it's going to the appropriate people. We share that with particular councilmen. We had one in the first ward. I forwarded that out to Councilman Castera and made him aware of that, which he followed up with the appropriate department. So as those come in, those are things that you guys will report on monthly. And again, we'll make that more aware of to residents in our next town crier article too, that that's available, because it's a great tool for them to easily access and let us know what's of their concern. So she's already created the PowerPoint decks for the department heads. We'll review those individually, make sure everybody's comfortable with that. She's also created an official town YouTube channel for improved user experience with viewing our videos online. And allowing the video to be streamed without having to upload or download large files to and from the website. So,
Jim, can I ask you one question, not to interrupt you? Getting back to creating PowerPoint decks for the department heads and councilmen, so we can meet with her?
yes. Yep.
She had a little office here or something?
Yeah, she goes over to
Okay.
Yep. Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
She's usually here during the day?
Yep.
Okay.
She also established a partnership with WKTV through New York State Department of Labor for job posting to be advertised on WKTV and distributed through email to targeted subscribers. So I think that helped out. We did that for our highway department, so that worked out well. And that's all I had for me. I know, sorry. When I started this, I didn't have anything, and then it just grew. So thanks for being able to do all that. Next, we have matters submitted by the town attorney.
So Jim asked me to draft a couple local laws. The first one deals with elevating the salary of the town supervisor from the figure which was budgeted of $18,500 up to $32,000. You may ask, why do we have to do a local law? Section 27 of the town law establishes a process. Once you have finalized your budget and filed and approved your final budget, you can't adjust the salaries absent certain requirements. To increase the salary of the town supervisor over the published budget amount, we have to adopt a local law, and we have to do that, and in doing that, we have to determine that there are sufficient funds available to pay the increased salary as the budget stands. Since it is a local law, we'd have to have a public hearing. Then if the local law is approved by you, it would be subject to a permissive referendum. So I drafted a local law.
Everybody have an opportunity to take a look at the local law? I would like to make a motion to move forward.
A motion.
Motion by Councilman
I'll second.
Tehan, second by Councilman Latini. Discussion. I just want to add that this is not really an increase, but more or less reinstating or restore the level that it was for the last 4 years.
So So, just on discussion, where's the funds gonna come from?
So the funds will come from the line item that states supervisor insurance. So we'll take the funds out of that since it's
Supervisor, well, we don't have a copy. I might, not a big deal, I was just wondering.
yeah.
So the funds will be available out of there.
We'd have to set the public hearing also.
So, any other discussion? Roll call when you're ready.
Anybody else have any questions?
Councilman Dettini.
Aye.
Councilman Dehan.
Aye.
Councilman Reynolds.
Aye.
Councilman Fitzgerald.
Aye.
Supervisor Massa.
Aye.
All in favor, so adopt.
And then I'd like to set the public hearing for March 4th, 2026. So get a motion.
So moved.
Moved by Councilman Reynolds, second by
I'll second.
Councilman Prestera. Discussion. Clerk Brand, when you're ready for the full scene.
Councilman Dehan.
Aye.
Councilman Reynolds.
Aye.
Councilman Fitzgerald.
Aye.
Councilman Dettini.
Aye.
Supervisor Massa. All in favor.
Okay, it's got dry. Been talking for a little bit. All right. Do we have
The next local law, which I started roughing out, I haven't gone extremely far because there is current legislation that is in Assembly Committee to create term limits for the position of town supervisor. And that legislation would limit the town supervisor to a 4-year term, and that he wouldn't be able to run again. Jim had mentioned the idea at the time I found out about this, indicating that he thought we should consider term limits for the supervisor and for council people. I threw in 8 years, and this is up to discussion, and this would be subject to a mandatory referendum of the voters in November. So I don't know if you want to go forward or what limits you want to put, if any.
This would supersede the state's 4-year term for the supervisor?
That hasn't been adopted.
Okay, but if it were, we would have local law.
We could adopt a local law
Right.
to adjust.
Because 4 years for the supervisor is nowhere near it.
Right.
So I think the challenge we'll face, everybody that was elected, I think, this past November, is in a 3-year term.
Right.
Correct.
So-
We're on even year.
So we're in the even year election law, so that puts them potentially at 7. Where does it go from there? So I'm just wondering if maybe we use a term of two terms instead of number of years to get around. Otherwise,
Right.
what happens at year 7? Do they get potentially elected and have to leave after 1 year?
Well, that would be the way, probably the best way to handle it. I mean, I would think.
I agree.
Instead of
2
year
terms.
wise, you can't use a year because of
Two
the
con-
situation.
And if we wanted to use the word consecutive terms?
So,
And does that allow them the opportunity, after skipping a term,
to come back and.
to come back? You know, those are discussion points I think we have to have.
Yeah.
Well, we could discuss that.
Right.
Now's the time.
Valid points, and, yeah, because that's what we'll have to draft up, right, Kirk? And
Well, the way that it's written, you cannot be a supervisor if you served for 8 years. So if there's a gap in between, you still can't be.
It's like the
So
president.
if you want something different, you have to let me know.
Well, that's the clarity we'll have to bring to this document.
Yeah, so that's something.
Well, we have some
We're gonna have to
time.
sit
Down
down
to a
and we're gonna have to
mandatory.
figure it out.
Right.
Don't you agree, Councilman Reynolds? I think we should sit down and just
Absolutely.
figure it out.
especially when it goes to,
Yeah.
you know,
And that's basically how the president of the United States works. They do 2 terms, that's it, they're done.
Yeah.
You know, they can't skip and come back. So,
so we'll give you our in addition to what
Yes.
we have listed here, if there's anything else, and then we can pass that local law to go to
Public hearing.
public hearing, and then, does that, then you said it goes to the voters in November?
Yeah,
So, what's our time frame on that with primaries and everything else?
probably July or August.
So if the board wants to take some more time with this and reconvene, and this way we can bring it back here with.
Yeah, I'd like to take some more time to think
Yeah.
about it and discuss it with, our board members.
Absolutely.
I don't want to make any decisions tonight.
No, but let's, I mean, we have, like our town attorney said, this is, pretty much a rough shell of, what the law could look like, but then we can build off of that, so. And I appreciate it. I think it's a good move.
The next thing I had is, I had an opportunity to sit down with Darlene, and with the assistance of Dave Reynolds, who provided me with the official map of the fire districts. We've received complaints from some individuals, specifically on Chapman Road, who indicate they're paying for fire protection in a district which doesn't respond when, in fact, they have a call. After investigating this, we came to a conclusion that there are a number of homes in the area of Chapman Road that are listed on 911 as being in the Willowvale, or in the New Hartford Fire District, but are paying for Willowvale fire coverage. And there's quite a difference in the dollar amount. It's $2 and something for fire if you're in Willowvale, and I think it's 80-something if you're in New Hartford. So based on that, we have a 1982 map that clearly defines the fire districts. And it is my recommendation that we send a letter to Willowvale and to the 911 people, clearly indicating which properties we feel are erroneously classified as shown on the map, and giving them time to respond, and hopefully going forward to correct this situation. But I would ask for a board resolution authorizing me to send that letter. Dave, you want to?
Well, just,
You've got a lot more than I do.
yeah, Chief Bolanowski and myself met with Gus, the village attorney, and Herb, the town attorney, and we all recently, literally last month, signed a contract that clearly states the fire district as drawn on the 1982 map. And that's kind of what the basis of this is. So before we send any letters, I think we got to get together with Darlene's office and actually delineate
The specific.
the specifics.
Sure.
Yeah.
But I want to give Willowvale an opportunity
Sure.
to see this and have an opportunity to review it. And if they need to seek counsel and come up with their opinion, then certainly we should all review it.
Absolutely.
Can I ask questions?
Sure you can.
Where did the map come from?
Dave has an official 1982.
It came from the town, it's a 1982.
Well, because I found a couple of things strange here. I wish I had been included, because apparently you had a meeting, and, there's people here tonight, and I wasn't invited to the meeting. I saw it on the website. The town, we brought this before to the town, and you passed a resolution to correct that and to have it coded so Willowvale would be dispatched to these houses. That's a resolution that you passed. I talked to Mr. Cully, and he called me, and he said he had dropped this off at the county, to the county planning department. My discussions with Mrs. Pratt and Mr. Revere say that this resolution never, ever showed up, and I called the county planning department. It never showed up. So my question is why?
So it never got filed?
It never, I don't know, nobody has it.
Process.
No, wait a minute, excuse me.
I'm sorry.
So where did you, Herb, I asked you, who did you give it to? You said to me, I can't tell you, it's confidential. Those were your words. So where did you deliver this?
I didn't.
Why did you lie to me? You told me you delivered it that morning.
We were in the process of
No,
reviewing
excuse-
that. I
but-
indicated I had the resolution, but
But
this
you
was
told,
very-
you told me you delivered it.
I didn't deliver it. I went and talked to Kevin Revere.
I thought this kind of nonsense was done with.
I went and personally talked to Kevin Revere and to Mary Pratt, and they'll document it, because it was prior to Ways and Means Committee. And I told them that we had a concern. The information that you provided to me was different than what the map shows. You said, I'll tell you,
Okay.
you want me to respond? You said to me, these people are in the Willowdale Fire District, according to the map, and there's a mistake, because if they call 911, New Hartford responds, and they're paying Willowdale's fees. That's what you told me.
Correct.
When I further investigated and I saw the map, it became very clear that they're not in the Willowdale district. According to the map, the 1982 map, they're in the New Hartford district.
Okay.
And that's the discrepancy, and that's why, in terms of going further with that, I found there to be a discrepancy, and I wanted to determine what is proper. Now, as I read the law, people read it differently. The 1982 map, it's the town board's determination of the fire districts. The fire districts are, in essence, a semi-political unit, and they defined it, it's up to the town board to define it, in the 1982 map. So the information I had gotten from you did not appear to be correct. So I didn't want to go any further with information that I had relied on as to what you told me, which I later found out was incorrect.
Okay. I have asked repeatedly the county, and I asked the town for a map. I never had it. Never saw one. 1982, who drew up the map?
I think we can give you a copy of it.
Well-
Yeah, I don't have a copy of it,
Yeah.
but the ledger is the town of Hartford and the town engineer at that time, it's 1982. The other point too is, we just signed the contract, and the contract is annual. And we've been signing that contract annually for decades.
I understand.
And in the contract, it specifically says, it references the 1982 map and the fire districts. This map is a fire district map. It isn't a sewer map, it isn't a lighting district.
Okay.
It's specifically the fire districts.
I understand.
And that's the map that we have been signing a contract relative to since a long time.
So, I'm gonna go back quite a few years ago. A member of the Willowdale Fire Company contacted the assessor's office, and they would like, and we had a spit out of which houses were in the Willowdale Fire District from the town assessor's office. And that report showed these houses that were in question, being in the Willowdale Fire District, District 4, Willowdale, down in Hartford, which went up to Weston Road. And of course, there was, if you look at the tax maps, there's some jogs in there. And I understand that. So, if you went to the tax map, which was a legal document, like I said, I've never seen this map. And
Yeah,
sure, I
so
would like to see
That's where
it.
the confusion
But is it,
between you and I came.
Right.
Because when you came to me, you said, these are in the Willowdale district.
going by
When they
the,
call 911, New Hartford responds. And we need to clear it up. And we actually went, I agree with you that she has probably 20 houses or so that are being shown as being taxed in Willowdale, but according to the map, they're in New Hartford. That's why my recommendation tonight was that they authorize me to send a letter to Willowdale saying, this is what we've determined from the map, that 1982 map that we have, and giving you an opportunity to respond. That's what I'm trying to do. I don't want to shortcut you. I enjoyed talking to you. We want to get this done and get it done properly, and to do that, we have to give you notice, because this causes a financial impact on your fire department, and we have to give the residents the information as well.
So for all these years, since those houses were built, they've been taxed wrong.
I don't know.
Oh, I can tell you that.
Yeah,
So who made the error?
I don't know. I've been asked to see if we can get the map corrected, the parties corrected as to the ownership, whether they're in Willowvale or New Hartford, get the tax records straightened out so that they're being properly charged. That's what I'm trying to do.
See, this was all farmland, either the Capana or the Weston Farms land. It was sold off, because I know of that area. And how that ever got transcribed different, that was long before Lindale was done, and that was long before the junior high school was done.
I don't know. I have been shown a 1982 map clearly defining the districts. It's within the jurisdiction of the town of New Hartford, and I see where certain houses, and one house is in one district,
I
the
saw
other
that.
house is in another. And I've been asked by people who are residents there who wanted to get this straightened out, and they've been before the board over many months saying, let's get it straightened out. And that's why I thank Darlene and Dave for the opportunity of letting me finally see the map.
Okay, so obviously we'd like to see the map, and then we'll
Absolutely.
go on there, but here's what some of this has been done by, and I'm gonna reference to, there was an Oxford Road fire, the New Hartford Fire Department was dispatched. That was in Willowvale's fire district, and you probably see it by the map. When I asked questions, people said, we thought that was our district. So was this map drawn up by people thinking that was their district, or knowing what their district was?
I think this is an official map that was drawn up with the approval of the town board of the town of New Hartford. That's, as far as I know.
This is back in '82.
Yeah.
Well, I've been with the Willowvale Fire Company for over 50 years, and I've never seen a map. I'm just gonna say this, and I'm not blasting anybody. You go over to New Hartford Firehouse, and there's a map that says New Hartford Fire District, and it shows the whole town. Now, that's very misleading.
Well, I don't know what year the map is. mean,
Well, I don't know, but it's, obviously, they didn't do the whole town.
1982.
But what I'm saying is this map, well, we'll have the chance in legal counsel
Sure,
to review it.
absolutely.
But it's not, this is a whole slippery slope, and we've talked about this
I
in
agree,
the past.
it is a very slippery slope.
But we didn't make the error. See,
No.
when this was brought to, and there's a lot of backstory, and a lot of backstabbing that's gone on to the Willowvale Fire Company, and I'll be honest with you, over this whole deal. And there's been comments made out there that someday I'd like to address the town board to let them know what somebody's saying about what's going on here, privately, because probably you don't want it in the press yet. So anyways, I would love to see the map, and we will have time. Now, obviously, we have almost a year because the taxes have already been done.
Correct. But my proposal was that they allow me to send a letter to
Okay.
Willowvale saying, this is what the map shows, and if we can copy the map, I'd love to do it, and saying these 15, 20 properties appear to be improperly taxed, and then we go from there.
Okay.
But it's up to the board.
Yeah, I think based on what we heard tonight, there is some discrepancies in what's coded to which fire department. I think this is the first step in rectifying this, or moving this forward to give Willowvale an opportunity to look at the map, have their legal counsel look at everything, and then just, figure this all out. Because, again, valid questions, who made the error? I mean, we have to do a really deep dive into going into the system and say, okay, when was it updated? If it actually records that, is there somebody that shows who made the change? I mean, but all in all, I think this is a good first step if the board agrees, and because this issue has, it's been stated, it's been going on for a few months. I think it's time to at least them have an opportunity to have an 82 map and get this thing,
And this also includes Chapman, you guys were saying?
Chapman.
yeah, Chapman Road, yeah. So, based on what council said, we'd like to have a motion to allow him to draft a letter and provide that with the map of 1982 to Willowbell Fire Company.
And to have Darlene provide me with a list of the specific properties that would be affected.
Do you have a motion? Motion by Councilman Reynolds,
A second.
second by Councilman Teeny. Discussion. Roll for clerk.
Yeah, can I just get clarification on the resolution itself? It's a letter to Willowville Fire Company and the residents affected.
I would send it to Willowville Fire Department first
Authorize.
of all, so that we can review it with them, as a courtesy to them, and to the New Hartford Fire Department.
But we have not identified exact parcels yet.
Right,
So,
that's what Darlene's. gonna do.
understood, yes.
So the resolution, just go ahead.
To authorize the town attorney to send a letter to
Willowville and New Hartford. Fire
After
Department.
receiving the information from the assessor.
and as well as including the 1982 map to send to Willowbell Fire Company.
Roll call. Councilman Latini?
Aye.
Councilman Dean?
Aye.
Councilman Reynolds?
Aye.
Councilman Cristero?
Aye.
Supervisor Messa?
Aye.
So carried.
And then I think the next thing that I had was executive session for personnel matter involving a specific town employee. I also note the chief, I think he has an executive session, maybe we could combine them.
Yeah, we'll handle that at the end, if it's okay with everyone else.
That's fine with me.
Clerk Wang, if you're ready for your items.
Okay, pretty busy month. I have in your packets some catch-up monthly reports, submitted a monthly report for November's town clerk's revenue. You have copies of what was dispersed, checks from general hometown, checks from part-town, general part-town police, and highway part-town. The checks totaled $43,408.70 for November's revenue collected by the town clerk. There was also money collected for state agencies, which were submitted, see on page 2, to those state agencies. Also did December's monthly report, checks totaling $23,254.22 to the town as reimbursement for fees collected, as well as some small fees collected for state agencies that were also remitted. And then just for your reference, there's an annual report of monies collected from January to December 31st, and the clerk's office, and the total local shares. It should be noted, there's a lot of things included in this annual report that don't typically get reported to the clerk's office, so next year you're probably going to see much less money reported, but the prior clerk was taking in a lot of monies that weren't necessarily
Clerk related?
clerk related.
Okay.
Yeah. More finance related. So the total local shares remitted in 2025 to the clerk's office was $1,703,727.29. Let's see, try to go in order here. I had a 30-day advance notice liquor license request from the Tsuba Restaurant that I was wanting to get a resolution on, so we could get them approved. I think it's in your packet, and then emailed it, I believe, to Councilman Teehan, it's in your ward early.
And this is a new application.
It is approved, yeah.
That's further than Sue.
Yeah, right over here.
I think they want to sell a different
They renewed, this is a renewal, right?
No, I think they're changing
New
their
application.
application, what they're
Did
offering.
they change their name or something?
No, it's just what the products that they're gonna be selling.
Okay, gotcha.
So we have a motion to approve the liquor license.
Oh, motion.
Motion by Councilman Matini, second.
Second.
Second by Councilman Tehan. Discussion. And clerk, we're ready for a roll.
Councilman Matini,
Aye.
Councilman Deanne,
Aye.
Councilman Reynolds.
Aye.
Councilman Pistera.
Aye.
Supervisor Massa.
Aye.
Michelle, can I just ask a question on the monthly report for the December, actually the yearly report?
Yeah.
I know you mentioned you're not gonna be, or your office, reporting these, some of them going forward,
Yeah,
from a monitoring standpoint.
So the finance stuff that she was taking in last year when I was part-time now will come from a cash receipt report,
Okay,
and that will be given to you monthly.
okay, great, that's perfect, thanks.
Yeah, the Association of Towns membership for the town clerk, I don't know honestly if that was something that was done in the past, but I got an email, so I'm assuming that the town clerk is a member of the New York Association of Towns, and if so, I'm requesting to have my membership dues approved.
I'll move it.
Motion by Councilman Reynolds.
I'll second.
Second by Councilman Pistera. Discussion.
So, the town has a membership, right? The town itself, I'm not familiar how it works, does anybody? Or is it just the clerk?
There's the town clerks. that
It's a separate
is
membership, that's a
membership.
Yeah, they're
And
separate.
our clerk
There's
is
separate.
always.
The town has a membership, but the clerk.
That gives her an ability to call and get it. It's a very, very good resource.
No, definitely. I just didn't know if it fell under the towns or why it was separated.
So it was highway has it, I paid that out of my budget.
You have a separate one above? Okay.
So, again, it's probably under our contract reviews, we'll see if, when these things are due, so that we get that brought forward.
We can wait on that if you want.
No, I'm fine.
So that was discussion. We'll do that.
Councilman Matini,
Aye.
Councilman Deanne,
Aye.
Councilman Reynolds.
Aye.
Councilman Pistera.
Aye.
Supervisor Massa.
Aye.
All in favor? Next is the LGS 1 records retention, affirm or reaffirm adoption. There's, I couldn't find anything where the town had ever affirmed the LGS 1, that's the records management system. That's, state mandated that requires limits on retention of records and how you go about destroying records and all that stuff. So I didn't know if we wanted to reaffirm it, just to get it on the record. I looked back through some of the old minutes over the last, 8-10 years, and I didn't find anything. The LGS is new. It used to be called the MU1 or something like that. And in order to be in compliance, we need to make sure that we have adopted the LGS 1.
I agree.
So I have the resolution to affirm and or reaffirm.
Do we have that in here, or we don't need it?
Oh, the LGS 1, it's a huge,
Okay.
Document.
it's a huge document, and it basically lays out all the parameters in regards to records retention for each kind of record that we have. And then, more importantly, in my perspective as records management officer, it lays out when records are eligible for destruction and or
That's important.
how, which are kept permanently and how they're kept and that sort of thing.
Yes, we have a motion by Councilman Latini, second. I'll second. Second by Councilman Prestera. Any further discussion? Roll when you're ready.
We're up to the chief. He goes all this.
Councilman Pistera.
Aye.
Councilman Reynolds.
Aye.
Councilman Tehan.
Aye.
Councilman Latini.
Aye.
Supervisor Massa?
Aye.
Did I call him?
I think so.
Okay. I'm sorry, I have some late entries to the game
Late
today,
entries?
so they're not on the thing. But I have two raffle consents that came in this morning that we need to get back prior to the next meeting, so I'm hoping that we can, they're raffle entry, or raffle consents that are annual, and this is a renewal for MBHS to sell raffle tickets, and the same with Anita Stevens Swans is looking for the raffle consent for the year. So I don't know if we wanted to do two resolutions to approve those.
Yeah, we'll do two. So, now, do they specify where they're selling those?
The town, it just says town of Hartford, yeah.
Herb, anything else on those?
No, that's good.
Motion to approve MVHS raffle consent. Motion by Councilman Latini, second.
Second.
Second by Councilman Reynolds, discussion. And roll call.
Councilman Latini.
Aye.
Councilman Dean.
Aye.
Councilman Reynolds. Councilman Pistera.
Aye.
Supervisor Massa.
Aye. Next, we'll have the Anita Stevens Swans raffle consent. Do I have a motion?
I'll make a motion.
Motion by Councilman Pistera, second. Second by Councilman Latini, discussion. And roll when you're ready.
Councilman Pistera.
Aye.
Councilman Reynolds.
Aye.
Councilman Dean.
Aye.
Councilman Latini.
Aye.
Supervisor Massa.
Aye.
Just one more thing, in your packets, see if I can find it, so it can make sense here. In your packets, there is a warrant report, basically breaking down taxes received and, okay, I have my copy.
Here.
It's not the one.
Oh, we're done.
Nope, not that one. Yeah, well, that's the warrant report, and it basically breaks down all your special districts, and I just wanted to make you guys aware that this existed, and let you know the bottom line there, the $18,899,667 will be the total tax collected when we're done. So far, we are not done, but we have collected the town's share of that, and no, I submitted the check today for the town's share of that.
I don't know why you can't find it.
I know, my goodness. Let's see, I know it's in there, I got it so I can tell you.
Oh, she, it's not that. It's something else. She's looking for something else. Oh, yeah. As she's looking for that, I just want to make a quick mention of gratitude to several departments. We have the police department, the fire department, Edwards Ambulance, highway department. Just this winter's been a long winter. It's been very cold, and they're out there every day. So I just want to extend my gratitude to all of the officers, first responders, and highway employees. It's been challenging. It's an old-fashioned winter, but they've done an outstanding job. We may be inside when it's below zero, but they're out there patrolling. They're doing their runs, and I just really want to extend my gratitude to all of those folks, and also to the staff here, from the assessor's office to the council, department heads, and to the clerk's office. It's been really challenging for the first month coming in here and maybe not having everything available, but you guys really all stepped up, and again, I just want to extend my gratitude to everyone here. I know we have new administration and so forth, but we're all working really well together. We're communicating, we're getting some things done. So again, I appreciate all of your time, Christina, Councilman Latini, and Herb. We've talked a million times probably in the last 30 days, weekends, nights, text messages, emails, really responsive, and again, we had a lot of things going on, so thank you as well for all that you've done. It's a busy town, and we're making some good progress together, so I just want to say thank you to everyone.
You're welcome, and thank you too. And I also agree with town supervisor, that between our highway boys and our public safety, they've all been doing a phenomenal job. So, and especially the first snowfall we had, I know we had our police out there, had at least, I'm sure Mr. Fontaine, our chief, can come in on this, because we had at least, as I remember, 12 or maybe 15 accidents with that first 19 inches of snowfall. Am I right, Chief? That our police officers were out there working hard, also our fire departments and whatever. But thank you all for all you guys do.
Here, you want.
Just a question, Michelle, is this after the county's made us whole?
This is total county and county.
Okay.
Yeah, and that's what I'm gonna tell you, that's
Yep.
what the county
Yeah.
letter. So, the town's portion of that 18,800,000, and change, so the town's portion of that has been collected, and that check was, written for the town supervisor today, and transferred, well, not transferred, I don't know what's happened on that side of it, but $6,638,337.23 is more than that's been collected, but that's the town's portion, and it's been turned over to the town as of today.
Great job. Nine items for you, so. you did
Sorry,
good.
it wasn't supposed to be.
Well, thank you for that report, it was excellent. Now on to Chief Brian Fontaine.
Thanks. Thank you. First item, we received a request, if you will, from a resident for a stop sign to be placed on Pleasant Street at the intersection with Sylvan Glen Road. And, this is something we talked about before, previous board meetings. There's a couple of issues. The reason that it's being asked for is the, the intention of reducing speed on that road. And that is a concern that both in the Hartford Police Department and the Police Department have already worked on in the past and continue to do that. The thought from the resident is that there was a stop sign there that would slow people down by basically by interrupting or proceeding to the next intersection, which is not, but it's a very short distance away. And that's the intersection of Pleasant and Tilden. More so, however, the issue is that Pleasant Street, by all accounts that I can determine, is not common knowledge over the years. I've always been under the belief that Pleasant Street is in the city of Utica. It has changed to my knowledge, and did review an United County map where it delineates municipal boundaries, and that affirms that Pleasant Street is in the city of Utica. So although the individual who lives on Sylvan Glen Road is requesting a sign to be put on the frontage of his property, which is accountable to Hartford residents, the board would have to legislate that sign to make it enforceable, and I don't see how, for please chime in if you have something that I may not, but I don't see how the town could legislate regulation of traffic on a city street.
It's not our road.
It's not our road. So now, interestingly enough, under the criminal procedure law, either the Utica Police Department or the New Hartford Police Department could conduct speed enforcement on Pleasant Street because of the short distance between the two municipalities. They recognize that there may be some overlapping enforcement responsibilities, and they even go so far as to give the court's subsequent jurisdiction in anything, as far as a vehicle traffic matter or a criminal matter for that purpose. But it doesn't change the fact that the sign would have to be legislated. I don't see how that's possible.
So even though it's on the town property, it's still, it's a.
The road is.
The way I look at it is, it's almost doesn't matter where it's placed. It's going to be regulating the flow of traffic. It's a city street.
Correct.
Okay. The town of Hartford and have jurisdiction authority to do that.
So Chief, should we bring this attention to the city of Utica, maybe the mayor, and let everyone?
I've spoken with the police chief in Utica, and off recollection, they have dealt with this in the past, and he informed me that they were not interested, going back historically in doing that. That's their decision. I will say, I understand there could be some times there. I also don't see a high volume of collisions there. I'm not saying that there has never been a collision in any adjoining intersection, but it's not a spot that we respond to on a regular basis.
So this certain resident, I was wondering if we can possibly, because, you know, he comes up this every month or two, you know, and actually I've spoke to the mayor about this since it's my, you know, since it's my ward. And he has mentioned to me, he knows exactly who he is. So obviously he's contacted them also. So there's got to be a way we can make this gentleman, or this resident understand that. Does he really understand it's a
The only
city
other
street?
comment, he does understand it, and I met with him personally at his residence, and we took a walk outside and, you know, viewed the area in person. I did explain all this to him. I did explain the municipal boundary that I was familiar with, and then I got this map, and you can see his residence is circled there. I think I included this in the packet, but you can see. So the red line there, you'll see, that's the municipal boundary between the city and the town, which leaves Pleasant Street and the entirety of Pleasant Street, both lanes, in the city, according to that map. The only other thing he mentioned, Rick can chime in here if you will, he indicated that he feels that the town regularly maintains, by way of plowing, a small portion of Pleasant Street near Sullivan Glen, near his residence. And he thinks that by default, his position is that by default, the town now bears some responsibility because of prior maintenance. I don't really know that the town is really maintaining it. I think, I'm not saying the plow never drop their blade as they navigate the, you know, the side streets and get prepared for the upcoming intersections, but I can tell you personally, I've seen the town, rightfully so, not maintain certain spots of Pleasant Street because it's in the city and that the city has done so.
The city recently paved Pleasant Street within the last 5 to 7 years.
Yep.
You want to say something?
No, I agree with the chief. It's not a town road.
Right. So we just have to
We
make
can't
him,
put up speed signs on city
we just
roads.
have to make him understand instead of continuously.
We're gonna put a stop sign there, it's not on our property whatsoever, the right way, it's a city, our plow may stop the blades to make the turn to go up to the road. That's all they do.
So, to help the chief out in this situation, I think I have an idea. Is it possible that we can send him a letter, make him understand that, you know, it's not our street? I mean, we can't put a stop sign there, and as the chief said, I agree with you.
Well, he's aware, right?
Not to mention,
I did meet with him, I did tell him to put it on the agenda for consideration, and, you know, I let him know, I explained to him I wasn't optimistic of it, because again, I
Yeah.
explained to him clearly the legislative. Now, like, factor, if the city put a sign there and they made it a law that you had to stop there, now that's enforceable by.
Right, that's where the
But
gripe is.
again, I don't think they have, I don't think they're interested in doing that, but I guess you could take it up with them if you wanted to.
and like the chief has mentioned, all kidding aside, he wants to put the stop sign per se here, and there's literally another one at that other wall on the corner of Phillips, which is like maybe, what, chief, 100 yards? Not even.
It's very,
It's
yeah,
not right
place
there.
to stop.
You can stop and stop again. You know, I mean, before you hit till there's a stop sign.
150 feet.
Yeah, so I think we exhausted our resources on this, and
I'll just refer back to you to go if you have something.
Yeah.
I agree.
Or send him a letter or something.
Yeah, I'll send him a letter. I'll send him to go pick you, right?
Yeah, there you go. Okay.
next item.
I received a complaint regarding Andover Ave, vehicle traffic complaint. Apparently, there's large tractor trailers coming from the business in the shopping center using Andover to exit the shopping center and reach Wilbur. And they're faced with making a left, most often a right turn, because most of the trucks, I believe, are going to the arterial. They make that right turn, I believe they've, one instance for sure, where they've crashed into some bushes there on an adjacent property. It's an extremely tight turn to make with a tractor trailer, which is why what's generating the complaint. I took a ride over there. There was some question on jurisdiction. It is a town road. There's a sign there that indicates such. It's a two-way road. It is also regulated to be 6 ton. There's a weight limit on that, which I put a look of some of the vehicles I suspect are using that road coming from that business are probably over that. So I think that there's a sign there that indicates that it's 6 tons and a town road. I think it needs to be, it's an old sign, it's worn out, but it's faded, it's got overgrowth. Maybe we could get that a little more visible, and I can contact the owner of the business to warn him on that. The other consideration is, does the town have an interest in perhaps making it a one-way? You know, I spoke with Councilman Mills about this. He had some concerns, if you make a no, what was the date of, I think the turn, we talked about making a no right turn, but we can't, you're not doing no right turn because you're putting them up.
Yeah, there's a couple of issues. One is there's 2 houses on that road,
Right.
so that complicates things a little bit. I had a call from a constituent, and I've got pictures of the damage that was done on a mature hedge. It's not the first time the hedge has been damaged. Also, at least on one occasion, they hit the power pole, destroying the pole, causing National Grid to put 3 crews on it. If they're not ruining the hedge, if they're not hitting the pole, they're coming across the grass. So, and it is not exclusively, but a lot of it is the tractor trailer business from Carl's Furniture. It's nice to pull off their loading dock and go right straight out Andover Ave. But then you can't make the left or right onto Wilbur because it's so tight without causing damage. As the chief says, if we can get that posted better, I guess, so that there's no question about what the load limit is on the road. And I would suggest no truck traffic, because they do have the option of simply going around the end of the shopping center and either going out Genesee Street or going Campion Road. They don't need to come out to Wilbur Road. If they have to come out to Wilbur Road, the turn from the shopping center entrance to Wilbur Road is much easier. Not ideal, but it is easier. So I think we need, as the chief said, better signage and communication with the tractor trailer, the Carl's people, that they can't do that.
Again, there's a couple empty trailers that are all consumed or empty. Even if they're empty, when you combine the tractor portion to it, quick calculation, I think they're well over that 6 tons. Even consuming.
So even that, I mean, do we just limit no tractor trailers? I mean,
No truck traffic, which is not a hardship in any way, shape, or form.
and I think that just limits, someone's wait, this, that, I think that it's cleaner and it's clearer, and I did see the images too.
Yeah, I've got pictures if you want to see them. I wanted to put them up, but technically challenged.
We're working on it. We're all, you're not the only one, so. But we'll get it right. But yes, when you look at the length of the trailer and the tractor, and it is devastating for the homeowner to see that and them navigating it around. So I think if we can move to that, any concerns with this with the signage?
No, I think we have to do it.
Okay.
If I could, and I just actually connected with an individual today on a different traffic matter, a representative of the state DOT, just to get some input on the proper sign. There's a manual of signs that we can legislate in and then make it something that is enforceable. We don't want to if you just simply slap a sign that says no truck traffic, then I can't enforce
That would require a public hearing, et cetera,
local law.
which is
Local
good.
law.
Right.
I'll get you the proper
Yeah.
section or proper sign.
To put out there. Good idea, Chief.
We'll draft it up for the next meeting,
Absolutely.
and then we'll go forward. I agree.
There's actually a barricade on Lawrence.
Yeah.
I don't know what prompted that, maybe Rick does, but,
It's
Been there for years.
yeah, I don't know what prompted it, but worst case scenario is we put a barricade on Andover at an appropriate spot so that they have to go around the shopping center. But that's down the road. If
If
we
we
get
get anybody coming in that far, they would need to come in.
Well, no, you still have to have those two houses accessible.
Oh, yeah, I'm saying, if you put it very big, spot, it doesn't hurt anybody.
Yeah, right. But that's down the road, I think if we can do it with signage, we should do that.
Yeah, I agree. But you're right though, chief, there is a proper language for sign wise, because people think they can't take their regular Ford there, right? I mean, you're right, so tractor trailers need to not go in there, I agree.
Next item included was a municipal animal shelter internet connection. I did speak to the town supervisor on that. We're still waiting for them to get back to us on that, but we are on the way. Just the basic internet connectivity there through Spectrum. I think that's what the town's using now. I think I talked to Christina about that. So we just add that to the service. What's that?
Is this the one about the sign? Is this the one?
Oh, no, I'm just, no, I'm just basically talking about that.
Gotcha.
One other item here before we get to that. So our animal control officer needs town board authority to act as a licensing officer for dog licenses and rabies licenses. Only to the extent, I know the majority is that is handled through the clerk's office. He just needs that to the extent as it pertains to a sheltered animal at the shelter, so he can transact. Sometimes when he encounters an unlicensed animal or an animal that we have, he can't release an animal that doesn't have the rabies vaccination. So he would just need authority to issue those licenses, which ultimately would be filed with the clerk's office. But that's, they do cover that under, it's permissible under, excuse me, one second, let me do this section 109 of the New York State Ag and Markets Law, Chapter 69, Article 7. Provides for him to have that authority. Again, it's only to deal with issues that arise with licensing and or rabies vaccinations for animals that come in, and then he has to process out of the shelter.
Just, let me just back up on this, is there any reason we couldn't schedule a public hearing now?
I have to draw the local law.
Okay. Thanks.
Chief, going back on your,
I think a simple resolution giving our animal control officer licensing authority under section 109 of the New York State Ag and Markets Law, because all he needs, and again, he would only utilize that as he conducts shelter business.
sure. Okay, no motion on that. So we have a motion by Councilman Latini. Do we have a second? Second by Councilman Prestera. Any further discussion?
Do we need any backup individual, chief? How do you handle that?
So we've got a handful of volunteers that, not a backup individual, or perhaps eventually a backup individual with that authority. Not right now, I don't have anybody that would give that authority to. We are looking at some volunteers. I've got a couple of background investigations underway just to check references and so on and so forth, to see if we can get, eventually get more approval to bring them on as volunteers. I don't think I give the volunteer that the authority, but eventually, I mean, the town clerk has that authority now, so.
Okay.
Okay,
so
Yeah.
in this action, okay,
You
great.
know what it really amounts to is it's a remote site. Just hypothetically, the shelter, which I'm not suggesting we should be, if the shelter was here, we could just run it through your office, but because he's actually discharging an animal down there, sometimes that becomes something he has to get involved with.
And he's already got access to the program.
Yes. Yes.
Any other discussion?
Nope.
Discussion, so, quick random call for a roll.
Councilman Latini?
Aye.
Councilman Tian?
Aye.
Councilman Prestera?
Aye.
Councilman Reynolds?
Aye.
Supervisor Messa?
Aye.
All in favor.
The other item there was the ACO, animal shelter rates. We faced a situation recently, no, let me back up. First of all, the rates, as we all know, we enacted them were 25% less than Stephen Swan's was charging at the time that we were preparing to open the shelter. So we faced a situation recently where animal control officer secured a loose dog brought to the shelter. within, I believe it was within 8 hours. I use 8 hours because that's a work shift is 8 hours long, so within that 8-hour shift of work that he was on duty, the owner presented themselves to claim the dog. And the situation we had was basically said, you know, again, that this is what they said, truth of it, who knows, but what was stated to our animal control officer was that they couldn't afford to pay for the dog and they were going to consider abandoning it, in other words, walking away from it, which would be now the town's responsibility to continue to shelter and eventually adopt out. So I just wanted to have a conversation on something, get some thoughts as to what we could do to, as a backup plan if we encounter that again. A couple different ideas, or with some discussion of this with some board members, do we consider a rate, some sort of reduced rate if the animal's cleaned within the first 8 hours? Or do we just say, okay, let them relinquish the animal to the rightful owner and then attach the bill to their property tax? That seems like a good idea. The only thing I thought about with that is what do we do if we have a double tenant? How do we navigate that?
Same way we do with water. Goes on the property and they allow the tenant to build it.
You think you can do that if a tenant? So if I was a tenant, I'm renting from somebody else, my dog gets loose, I don't pay, my landlord's gonna get it on there.
Yes,
How are you gonna do that, Dave?
Yeah, you can do that.
that's the way it works with water.
Yeah,
Tenant doesn't
works
pay.
with
No,
water.
no,
I don't
it's-
think it works with it.
That.
yeah, you might.
Well,
And
we
especially
made
if
it
it's
clear
a
up front with
month-to-month
the shelter, it's not a place where you can drop off an animal and abandon it.
No, absolutely,
We have to have some disincentive to make sure that doesn't happen.
I agree, I don't think
Well,
that.
I think a situation could unfold where a lot of these tenants may not even tell their landlords they have pets. So, I mean, you could have a different, I'm just saying,
No, you're right, but
there's a bunch of different liabilities.
can you issue a violation, a summons? I mean, what's the alternative?
Not for, no, because they just abandon, they walk away from it.
We can't be the only ones that are confronted with this issue. Can we reach out to some other animal shelters and see how they handle it?
Yeah, I can check with Stephen Swan to see how they handled it in the past. I believe what they, I'll have to double check that, but I believe what they did is they would not just adopt the animal out, which is certain we can do that, but
Do we want to?
we want to, right, we want to.
But there's, even if we have to go beyond Stephen Swan, yeah, I don't believe.
Just to get some input.
This is
That's
a
what I
Well, a
did.
lot of, well, maybe I'll check with a couple of other municipal shelters,
Yeah, I
there's gotta be some other, there's not.
Oh, you know why? Because this is all new to us. That's a good idea,
Yeah.
Dave. You know what I mean? This way, because otherwise it's stuck on you, you gotta try to figure it out, right? But Dave had a great idea. Even if you have to go beyond Steve Swan, somebody's gotta have an answer for you to help us out. I would think
Yeah.
that's a good idea, yeah.
I'll check with a couple of municipal animal shelters and we'll
Yeah.
But if,
bring it back.
yeah, let's find that out, but also with Councilman Tehan said, if there are, tenants and so forth that are renting, we need to notify landlords of this, new procedure, because then they will be aware, and then they can adjust the security deposit or whatever. I don't know.
I like the concept because it makes it a
Yeah.
lot simpler. I really don't see how, and the utilities, because it's a utility connected to the building, I can understand that, holding the landlord responsible there for something for pet ownership, a non-paid fee for a dog, which you didn't claim to go back on the landlord, I'd love it if it's legal.
We had the same discussion when it came to fire inspections on a business. And the question was raised, what if the business doesn't pay the bill? And Herb opined that it would go on the taxes.
This is
Sure,
a different
for a safety
situation.
goal.
This is a dog.
Conceptually, it's the same thing.
It's totally. I'd love to be representing the other side of this thing. You got all kinds of defenses. You have a lease with prohibition of dogs. You don't have a provision in a lease allowing a dog, and they've got a dog, and you're gonna be charged. I just think that's totally unconscionable.
resident will get thrown out, the dog will stay.
Yeah. I think we try and work with people. I really do.
Still ain't gonna get paid.
Let me see where, you know, Stephen Swans is probably not, nothing against them, but they are a shelter with different, I guess, classification, if you will, than municipal shelters. Let me see what some of the other municipal shelters are doing.
It's not our business to retain and place dogs. We want to hold them until we can find the owner and give them back to the owner.
Well, we do, again, if you take a dog in that's, where the owner's not identified, or a stray, no one
That's different.
claims it, then
Yeah.
we adopt it out.
Right, that's different.
Right, but I get it, I do.
You're talking about somebody 8 hours later comes to pick up his dog.
So again, I'd be interested to know what other municipally operated shelters are doing, because that's the classification one,
Yeah,
which
just
is
a
a little
way to
different.
find out.
So, you know, you don't want to compare yourself to an animal rescue, because their goal is a little bit different.
Yeah, well, there's a lot of nonprofit too. I mean,
They do. They have a shelter at the police station. The property there.
Right, so you'll get back to us on
Yeah.
what you find, so.
Yeah.
I'm gonna put that back on the next one.
Back on it, so good.
Okay.
thanks, Chief.
Yeah, thank you. And then there was the alarm quotes. There's 3 quotes for an alarm system there at the shelter, which, from your review, there's no alarm there now, so.
So you got ABC for 2,950, general security for, oh,
Sorry.
same paper, thanks, Chief. 4,200 from REM, general security for 4744. Now, are these comparable in terms of equipment?
Now, there's a difference in that first one, with the other. But again, there's also, I believe, been some conversation about our town facilities, so I don't know if you want to take a look at some sort of a proposal for cover everything.
Yeah, ideally, that's what I'd like, because it seems like Christine and I looked, there's just so many different monitoring things that are going on in town that it's pretty astronomical. So if we could get under one, I think it'd be better. So are you okay with not having?
I think the short term we're fine.
Okay. So I'll get on this.
More long-term consideration.
Okay. Let's hold on for these. Are these valid, do they say 30 days or?
I believe they would want to do that actually.
Okay, expires, yeah. Okay.
Next item, we had a couple parking complaints to circle back on. One was Congress Boulevard, there was some overnight parking. We did issue a few tickets there. Checked it subsequent to the initial tickets being issued, we had some violation yet, so we monitored that. The other thing came to light over Congress was some parking very close to Route 12B. I understand the concern there. If somebody takes a right-hand turn off of 12B, come down Crest, there's a car, people in that intersection. Somebody perhaps coming up Crest to reach 12B. We have a problem. So I did have the officers take a look. They did see, actually found one car parked in the area, but it was, I guess, on the farther side of the driveway that's closest to Crest. So continue to monitor that. I did look through the vehicle traffic law. And they determined there is a section regarding parking proximity to an intersection, but I had to have a crosswalk, so I'll have to go further and see if there's anything specifically we can pinpoint relative to just a general intersection. I don't believe there's a crosswalk there.
Is there anything, Chief, because it enters a state road?
That's what I want to check with the DOT on. I couldn't find anything in the town law.
Right.
I didn't find anything specifically in the vehicle traffic law, other than if a crosswalk was in play. But I'll take a little deeper and see if we can find something there. Again, if we could, or if I can, maybe that's another opportunity for perhaps to consider a sign. Next item is the foundation nuisance abatement letter. We haven't had any problems there since the initial issue. But again, it may not be a bad idea to send the first notice to abate so they're on notice. I know we recently had an opening. Again, there had not been any problems since that initial incident that we had. It's still, the defendants of which are still making their way through court.
Have you, I was there, witnessed, they had security detail.
Okay.
And I think they had at least 2 people, both entrances.
Okay, that was the big.
Yeah, just curious, I don't know, was it Friday opening? I think it was a Friday.
It was Friday.
So obviously that's a high traffic area, a
Yeah.
lot of their time. So I don't know, I'm just curious if they've instituted that as part of their procedure protocols on weekends.
I did mention that to him, to the owner, when I spoke with him relative to the incident right after it happened, and I gave him my suggestions. So if he did that, I mean, that would have really been the result. That would have been my desire if he had sent them the letter to get those 2 things done. So if he's already doing it, again, we have not been back since for any issues.
So did we send a letter?
We have not.
I think we should send the
I
letter.
do too.
Yeah, just to put them on notice.
Yeah, first.
Why don't you get with me and we'll send the letter?
Thank him for his cooperation at this point. Well,
Next item, burglary investigation update for personnel matter. We'll take care of that in executive session. We have an application that I received and it's waiting to me from the clerk's office for the use of Sherwood Park, and I know there's an individual here who may want to say a few words about that. It's for a June 2026 event there at the town park. They estimate, I think that the application came in at 2,000 people. I think they've since thrust that down a little bit based on their past events that they've held. I'm just waiting for some information to come back on the prior event that was held in Utica, just to get a little better gauge on what to expect.
Do we know what kind of event it is, Chief?
I'll let Ace Moriel, if you'd like to explain it to the board. Yes. So Ace is the applicant.
I also have the pamphlet last year.
Thank you.
Yes, my name is Ace Cornelli. I'm the founder and president of the United County Pride Alliance, and I submitted the application to the 2026 Pride Festival at Sherwood on June 6th. I don't know how much you want to ask a question. So last year we were at Utica University. We estimated 1,200 people based on just some crowd counters. And as I know Chief said, we didn't have any issues last year. It was a very successful event. And it was 10 to 4, which is what we're also asking for this year. So that 1,200 was over a 6-hour period. It wasn't all at once. It was kind of an ebb and flow.
It's also to add, in speaking with Ace, what I would suggest is we table it for a month so I can get some more information. You could answer a couple of questions. There may be the opportunity to, instead of trying to park or have all the vehicular traffic enter the park, there may be an opportunity to like indicate what we want to look into as far as busing in, which would kind of take a huge load off the support needed for the event.
You may want to look at chapter 44 of our town code, which deals with assemblies, mass public. Anything over 1,000 is considered a mass public assembly, and there are specific requirements set forth in that section.
Chief, is there any concern for security or anything like that?
I spoke about that, and the organization was willing to bring on police department, I believe, to an extent if need be. So, yeah, we probably, if we're talking
someplace, I don't know if there's Little League Baseball or anything else that we're already committed on, but we should check that.
Oh, that's a good idea. Who do you want to check that? So she filed a permit under local law 3 of 1980. That's what's on file right now. But again, if there's,
Ace,
we have to close it, then I see the conflict that we could be
Yeah.
creating if there's something there.
We need to see what is already scheduled. I don't know if Parks has an idea of anything that is scheduled for that far off.
Did you have an actual date that you had in mind?
Yes, June 6th.
June 6th, okay, I apologize.
There's no pavilion rentals at this time on that date, but I can check with JR about the Little League.
Is Little League still
Usually.
going on in June?
I think it's usually the first week is their ending of Little League,
Okay.
so I'll double check that though.
I didn't review your application, sorry. Did you have food trucks there as well?
Yes,
Just
we
those
would be
items?
asking if there would be vendors who would have tents as well as food trucks there.
is there any type of liquor or anything?
No. We're a family-friendly event, so we no liquor or any sort of.
No type of beer or wine?
No.
Just one.
Okay. All right, so Chief, you'll look into that, and then, yeah, do you know how many tents? I mean, I'm just curious, like, from past events?
So, last year we had 90 vendors attend. Not all of them had tents, but they were 90 tables were attending.
So tables, and, I mean, some of those are tents, but I assume maybe pop-up tents, like
Yeah,
the,
pop-up tents.
little canvases, right? You
Yeah,
know?
like a 10 by 10.
Yeah, those are you're saying, referring to, no big, like,
Utica University did provide us with large tents. We anticipated using that for the eating area, but that ended up not happening. So it's up to you guys if that's what you could do, permit us to have tents such as that. And that was like, I believe they were 10 by 20 feet.
so there are some pavilions there as well, so you may not need to rent a tent, and, you know, just look at, you know, the grass and the house, and then, yeah, and then, as normal, the insurance and all of that.
Yeah. What was that local on the mass gathering?
Chapter 44.
44.
Okay, that's what she filed. She filed
Yeah.
44-3, so.
Yep.
Yeah, correct.
We would have to provide staff too for restrooms, trash pickup,
We will have in our budget to rent porta potties for the day to help accommodate with that. So I know your restrooms are more in the back of the park, and we're planning to be more towards the front. So we were trying to accommodate the amount of people who bring to the park.
Would this cut off use of the pickleball courts and the dog park?
I think that's the question I gotta start with JR first, to see what's approved there on that here one, and then we'll see what else would be impacted. Ace also, so you know, just look at, on the, you have a copy of the application you filed?
Yes.
So look at, towards the back, section 44-4, that's got a bunch of specific conditions. They mentioned sanitary, insurance, food supply, just you have to just make sure you're in compliance with all that. And I can, if you answer the busing question, I'll find out about the current use that's maybe scheduled there, and bring it back next month for.
Yeah,
Good. Yep.
So, one more question, if they're gonna use that, for like a Saturday night, right, Ace, what is the preparation for that, Chief? How many days prior do they need to set everything up?
I think you applied to come to the morning prior.
Yeah, we did request Friday if available. Last year, the past 3 years we've done it, we have done it all in one day.
You can do it all in one day?
It is possible, I get there at like 6 a.m., so we're ready by 10 a.m.
Yeah.
So we have requested Friday just to give us more time, but if
Sure.
that's not possible, we understand.
Well, that makes sense, because, if you're gonna put that many tents up and stuff, you can't do it like,
But
if
then
you're
we'd
going
have
to
to
do
shut
one
down
Saturday night,
2
you're gonna need at
days
least a day before, I
rentals
think,
and all
just
that.
get up prepared.
Yeah, I'm just gonna say, I think the day of, because if they're pop-ups, if there's a windstorm and whatever, I don't know. I mean, I just my personal opinion, I think that might be better suited to go in, you know, Saturday or whatever, and do it the day of. Just because if something gets stolen, you know, I mean, just a lot of different, I understand the setup, it sounds like a pretty large event, so, I just looking further at, because because sometimes we get some of these windstorms or something.
Yes.
happens,
And that did
Yeah,
happen
bigger
to us
mess.
last year. It was pouring raining from 5 a.m. to 10 a.m., so we set up the entire festival of rain. So we do understand that in June, you never know what the
Yeah.
weather's going to be.
Yeah.
And the park staff is there that early as well, so.
Okay.
that would be an issue.
And then if this goes forward, like I said, we'll get the food trucks to submit their application and state permits and so forth.
Board of Health.
Yeah. So we'll get some more, and if you want to, welcome, come back next month, and we'll see what we have additional information for you.
I'll talk to you in the meantime too.
Okay.
Give you what I found. Over.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ace.
Thank you.
Next item is the security, town hall, door reader quote, and camera quote. I appreciate Michelle, Marianne, and the town clerk, and I know there's an updated quote set only hours ago. So they sent one quote that just had the door readers on it that we were looking to add, and they sent one with the door readers and the addition of one camera. That, as they spec'd it out, the guidance, just how they envision it, that would tie into the system maintained by Rick, with that bank of cameras.
So it's just a 24,000?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, they're nuts. How did we get, no, because we had 16 door readers for like 34,000, how was 4?
That was,
You guys, if you do the math, divide the 34, whatever, by 4.
it was 4 or 5 years ago.
Yeah. Yeah.
So they still have 16 on this new quote, right?
No, that's the, yeah, it was 37 for 16. 4 is, I mean, I'm sure does that also include the camera on that one too, or just the doors?
The 24 has the camera, I think the 21 was without the camera. The camera was about 3 difference.
Maybe we can evaluate, as we get into the other security.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I get it.
It's just a lot.
Oh, I-
16 doors?
No, that was when, initially when we set the building up,
Okay.
and that's what the price was. And I just, and Rick supplied that to me, so thank you too, earlier on. So I figured, hey, doing the math, you back X out, and, because you only need a quarter of those. So it's kind of, sticker shock.
Yeah, no, I don't disagree with it.
I get it.
Yeah, you got some, yeah, no, you have the information and then it's.
And thank you for hitting
Yeah.
that. But I was kind of disappointed that it was what it was.
I figured you might be.
Yeah, so we'll look into it, and again, I appreciate you having that.
I think the same thing happened with the rec center. That proposal is very beefy.
Yeah.
And I met with John, and I think we've decided we don't need that many cameras. I don't know what the price is, but you want to look at putting everything under one vendor, that's going to go a long way. But
Exactly.
the rec center was crazy.
Yeah, he did bring it down, the number of cameras, which again, definitely it's a necessity to have those.
Oh,
there.
absolutely, yeah.
So we went
We don't
from
need that many. I don't think it needed to be, John.
12 to, I think, 7, but I want to walk
Yeah.
with the chief, and just double check some things.
Right.
And with John, obviously, you're welcome to come and,
Right.
and, you know, and just see what makes sense, make sure we're covered. Like I shared with the chief, and, you know, I personal incident happened, you know, at a ski place, won't mention the name, but they had a camera and able to identify who may have accidentally taken my son's stuff.
It
So,
wasn't an accident.
well, that's first, but it was returned, and again, put the camera and have him go back was it was helpful. So, no harm, no foul. But again, I think it gives us a level of not only security but safety, and if there's an incident that does happen, it's great to fall back.
Maybe we can rent the park out one time and set a fundraiser. For the cameras.
I don't know, is anyone familiar with another vendor that deals in the door scan reader technology? Is that
I
like around or
haven't,
not? You know?
but that's one we currently have used, but we can look into seeing if there's anything
I
You check at work, we have them there,
Yeah,
see what
some of
they
it lead to,
maybe they're not.
part of it is, let's just something to care for in the future, part of that, if it's in a quote, is that we never renewed the licensing. And that's part of that
I
expense.
see that big number in that 15 grand.
Right, because it's got to be relicensed, and the software is beyond just the installation of the reader and running the wire. It would have been less if we had each year done the maintenance on it, but that's
Yeah.
nice, what are you gonna do now? Yeah,
Okay, but it's good stuff, in terms of
oh, yeah.
security, but also, we uncover things. That's why I kind of want to look at agreements and everything else, is to see what's going on, because,
What do you think maybe, any of these other, if you did any type of request for proposal with the alarm system, perhaps one of those vendors would
Yeah.
incorporate some of that technology on?
yeah,
I don't know if they're necessarily
I think that's.
related in a business sense, but
Yeah, I know, I agree. I think that would be a perfect time to do
yeah.
just that, so.
Okay, last item is a Town of Marcy animal sheltering agreement. So Town of Marcy is interested in using our sheltering services, and they've signed the agreement.
Great. That's awesome, Chief, thank you.
So you need a motion to authorize this agreement and also for me to sign, right?
Yep.
A motion.
Motion by Councilman Latini. Second. Second by Councilman Reynolds. Discussion? Okay. Roll call, when you're ready.
The resolution again was to authorize the agreement.
Yes, for Town of Marcy and authorizing.
Councilman Prestera?
Aye.
Councilman Reynolds?
Aye.
Councilman Tian?
Aye.
Councilman Latini?
Aye.
Supervisor Massa?
Aye.
All in favor?
So you want to file the original
Not
in
that
your
I-
office
yeah,
next?
I'll-
When you get it, don't rush it, if you get a copy. Get it back.
They- I'll scan it.
Thank you.
Chief, nice job with that report. This is exactly what I think we all need to understand what's going on in the community, and nice job with your items.
Oh, yeah.
You didn't beat me, but,
You had one.
or for the clerk, so.
Do they count if you bring them back the next month? They still count?
Yeah, because, yep. Yep, sure will. All right, Darlene, anything from you, anything new? Right, okay. Personnel department, we're looking at hiring, highway. Mr. Chairman.
We have the ditching and mowing contracts for another year. The mowing, we have 2137 miles of county roads that we mow. And it's 400, up to a few bucks. It's $450 per mile, which totals about 9,166. That's for the year 26. They've made it so it's a 2-year contract, so they don't have to do it as often. And in 27, they upped it by $5 per mile, and it totals 9,368.35 for the second.
Just a 2-year agreement.
Just a 2-year agreement. The rest of the wording is identical to what we've done in the past. I have to furnish them with insurance, copy of our insurance, and putting them in the bottom. And that county is part of our little square at the bottom.
Additional insurance.
They're included.
So we have a motion by Councilman Reynolds.
A second.
Second by Councilman Latini. Discussion. Can you read the three?
Yes, looks great.
Second part is
Hang
ditching.
on, 1 second.
Okay.
Yeah, so this is for the
Mowing.
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 So,
Maybe the chief first.
ditching contract.
Good. Hang on.
You changed
No,
it.
she changed.
Never
She's
mind,
good.
go back to the
All right.
mowing contract.
So authorize, again, that's to approve this for Rick and myself to sign, so we're just verifying that. We have a motion by Councilman Reynolds, we had a second by Councilman Latini, discussion, and now roll.
Councilman Latini.
Aye.
Councilman Teehan.
Aye.
Councilman Reynolds. Councilman Prestera.
Aye.
Supervisor Massa.
Aye.
All. Thank you.
Now we
There you go.
now we do the ditching. Okay, Rick.
So the ditching, they determine what roads in the county that they want us to ditch. Usually it's 40 hours worth of 1 week. You provide traffic control, the trucks, machine to dig it, etc. Ditching is $13,800 again for the first year. And the second year is $14,000. In the past, we've been so busy that we've signed these agreements, but we haven't got done. This year is a priority that with what we're doing with ditching and cleaning ditches and et cetera with drainage, that we will be, and we can ask for extra. They're always willing to give us more if we have time.
So last year we didn't do it,
We
we
didn't
didn't
do
get
it.
paid either.
We didn't get paid.
Right.
Right. So, Rick and I, we met earlier in January, where a lot of things we're gonna be looking at, scheduling, and Councilman Prestera, the draft committee, will join as we, help make sure that things are done. I mean, Rick was pulled away in a lot of different things, so now we're gonna just help organize some things. Same with what I mentioned earlier with downtown Chadwick's project. I think if we schedule things out, we check things off, with the understanding when things may occur with a storm or something, and we just might deviate from that, but I think if we sit down, we map this out, I think it makes it more clear and concise, and we stay on point, and I think that will just make things a little bit easier. But again, your input is welcome, and whoever else is the co-chair, welcome to do as well. But again, it's Rick does, again, a great job with everything, but I think he's focused on as well as, handling the residents' concerns and keep it on track, right?
Right. But last year we were pulled by the supervisor in all kinds of different directions, as we all know. And, this year it's road.
And we're gonna make sure that things are done, right? And
Okay.
the best we can, right? I mean, but I think that plan is critical. You're always a key part of creating that. And that's why we meet with the department heads going into these committees, and the committees aren't just by name. They're gonna be involved. Dave's involved with the parks and Dave, you're chair of the personnel. So all these things are, we're gonna be meeting, these folks will be meeting, and I think that's really gonna be beneficial for the department heads too. And again, it's a better collaboration, and that's what's gonna make this town keep moving forward, honestly. So on that, all the notes, the dollars on, kind of the mention that you gave?
Yes.
Okay. Anything else you want to add?
For that, no.
So, kind of messed up in the first motion. The first motion was for mowing.
I'm not really sure.
You're not sure now?
It's for mowing.
Okay.
No.
This one is definitely for ditching. So we have a motion to Rick and myself to sign. Motion by Councilman Prestera. Second. Second by Councilman Latini. Any further discussion? Roll call.
Supervisor Massa.
Aye.
Councilman Prestera.
Aye.
Councilman Reynolds. Councilman Latini.
Aye.
Councilman Teehan.
Aye.
All in favor.
Okay, Rick, number 2.
Winter storm-related equipment expenses. As we all know, it's an old-fashioned winter. We've got a lot of snow. Our fuel is unbelievable. It plows about downs on the trucks.
How's the blades holding up, Rick?
Pardon?
How's the blades holding up?
I'm getting to that. But small, you know, brakes, small things, hydraulic hoses, stuff like that.
Wear and tear.
It's wear and tear. But they've all been, they look at that on off time, and when the next storm hits, they're ready to go. Blades, again, an old-fashioned winter, we're using them more. The hill trucks, there's 3 hill trucks, and they are out probably 2 or 3 times more than the town, the plows that do the developments, etc., because of drifting, this kind of snow we've had. Drifts, they're out there on a sunny day, and even Saturday or Sunday we'll get called in, we gotta go take push to foot. So the blades have really taken a wear this year. So we've had to order some new blades to, obviously we can't let it get down and damage the plow and the moldboard. So we've got the blades for the.
And those, in that last storm or so, those trucks are running constantly. So those things will occur.
You wear out.
Also, with that email from a representative at Hochul's office, capture that, submit that, and we can get some reimbursement. Because we did mention it in our meeting as well about what happened, and they also submit that, so maybe we get some relief.
As long as she made it an emergency situation, it's like that big storm we had, 7, 8, 9 years ago. We got quite a bit of money back from that one. I kept track, then it started a week ago Friday or so, I think it was on a Friday, we started keeping track of hours, MEOs working, heavy equipment operators working, what trucks were what. And when we rate a truck, we go with the FEMA rate. That's what everybody does. That truck, that size of truck, this is what FEMA gets per hour on that size truck. And that's the formula that we use to get reimbursement. So, but that's all been fuel, everything has been documented. So if it does come to, we're ready to submit it.
Yeah, definitely, because I think it's there, and
I agree with you.
yeah, also Rick and I, we were very much in communication prior to the storm. He had the trucks ready, all set, checked for safety for the employees, to prepare for this storm. The storm took 50% of our country under this storm, and so we stayed well communication prior to and then during. So, and also even the county executive extended an offer to us, I'm sure he did to other counties as well, or towns, that if we need anything, to reach out. So I thought that was very nice of him to do that, because again, it's just one of those storms that just long, many days. So again, I think the crew did a great job. They did a great job prepping for this.
The other big expense was obviously salt.
Yeah.
Salt. Last year we couldn't get salt. We had the same problem with the vendor, American Salt. They couldn't provide us with salt. And we went on and on. And finally, New Hartford's unique because we use our salt. People buy salt from us. New Hartford Central School buys salt from us for the sidewalks and their parking lots. The New York Middle School District buys salt from us. The Village of Yorkville buys salt from us because they don't have salt sheds. So they take and in turn buy their salt from us. So there's 2 or 3 weeks ago, we weren't getting salt. I had enough to supply what? But Yorkville went up and got an account at Tim Allen's there in Westmoreland and got salt out of there. Tim Allen has bought 3 barges full of salt. They're down in Albany Port. That's where he's getting salt and bringing it into his facility. So again, if this year's vendor is, they're out of the big leagues. Carpet. And if they can provide, he's got salt, but it's $20 more a ton. But safety wise, if we run into that, bees are just as, I had 3,000 tons set aside up at the quarry at Barrett, they're gone. Nobody else had bees, so now I'm getting bees that are pretty frozen out of pulling sand and gravel. For the sand part, we mix 3 to 1. But it's just been one of those years that, material-wise, it didn't improve any from last year, with a different vendor.
So something we should be looking into is it, as we get into later in the years, maybe we can sit down, look at that, and, you know, make sure that we're all set, and then cost-wise, you know, make sure you have what you need. And, who knows, we can go the next, we can probably have everything we need and have a mild winter, but also just be
But I
prepared.
got a lot of communication between our constituents, email-wise, text message-wise, that our crew has done a great job, and they have done a great job. Our roads, I think, are best in the county. You know, we have a great system in the village, but they have one square mile of roads where we've got 120 lane miles, and you double that, it's 240. So, but I think we have the best, and everybody tells us this, that we have, when I go to the county meetings, how do you do it, how do you do it? But,
As you mentioned, it's tricky when you get the drifts and you get the cold temperatures
Right.
and then it gets matted down. I mean, it's a lot to
Right.
it, you know, so, yeah.
we're okay.
I don't know about that ground up, but whatever. Anything else?
I've
Got some new hires.
For seasonals, I have not gotten any more full-time applicants. It's not helped us any at all. The one guy that we interviewed a couple of weeks ago,
Yeah.
I interviewed him, I got your permission, you know, you get permission from you to go ahead and hear him, and he never showed up. No phone call, no show up, no nothing. So these are seasonals. I can train these, they're old enough now where I can train them, put them on, they've got skid steer experience from working in the parks last summer, put a snow blower on it. My complaints are sidewalks.
Yeah.
We don't get in time if the guys are out there and they're plowing, it's the next day or so, or the next evening before I get to sidewalks. So I can put these 2 guys on the skid steer with sidewalks and hopefully improve that aspect.
Let's get it done. Have you had seasonal in the winter time before, or not usually?
Not this early, but it's the reason why I'm doing it. You know, the money's in the budget.
And this full-time is with or without benefits?
There's no full-time, these are seasonals.
Those are both, I checked the wrong box, sorry.
She checked the wrong box.
That was my fault. They're both
It says
seasonal.
full-time on the.
Yeah, but she said it's wrong, right? So this is temporary?
They're both temporary, both seasonal,
Okay, gotcha.
no benefits.
No benefits,
Okay.
$19.80 an hour. One is Daniel Aiken, $19.80. He's worked for the town of Hartford before, went to school at a lineman school down in Georgia. He wants to come back to New Hartford, he likes working for us on the highway. And also Thomas Lacey, $19.80 an hour. And he's qualified as well.
So this says fill 1 of 5 openings, but it's part-time, not
It's
full-time?
part-time, it's part-time.
Okay.
And some of the other ones that we fill, our kids are still in college.
Mhm.
When they get out, close to getting out of college for a summer, that means it's 1 of 5. Because we'll only have a few more summer kids for when they get out of college.
Okay.
Are these guys starting? Should I just go part-time check?
Yeah, can you do, thank you. Still learning the forms.
We all are. So,
Need a motion?
so in a motion for part-time labor hours? Yeah, 17
seasonal.
Part-time, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is it part-time or?
Well, it's part seasonal, part-time.
Seasonal.
So it's 17.5 hours, is it?
No, 40.
40 hours?
40 hours.
That's not part-time.
I was gonna,
It's full-time.
So that's, yeah.
What are we gonna get out of them for 17 hours?
Yeah, just say.
No, that's just.
Oh,
So that's why we just gotta clarify
yeah,
that.
it's seasonal,
Season.
Our
full-time,
seasonal
temporary.
employees.
So they're seasonal, but they're
Even in the
full-time.
summer,
Yes.
they're working 40
Yeah,
hours.
seasonal, full-time, okay.
Okay. All right, so, good clarification.
Okay.
Well,
That's no bad.
First one, Jim, is,
Daniel, eight.
motion.
Motion by Councilman Martini, second. Second by Councilman Montero. Discussion. And Clerk Moran, are you ready for a do it already?
And that form does not go to the county, so
I know, it's internal,
nobody sees it, it's all internal.
but they all been approved by the county anyways.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Daniel, motion by Councilman Rotini, second by Councilman Bristow.
Councilman McKinney?
Aye.
Councilman Dean?
Aye.
Councilman Reynolds?
Aye.
Councilman Becerra?
Aye.
Supervisor Massa?
Next one is, these are starting effective the 5th of February. Same here, we have for highway Thomas Lacey, 1980, seasonal, effective start date 2/5/2026. And this is seasonal as well. Motion by Councilman Platini, second
Second.
by Councilman Reynolds. Discussion. And roll when you're ready.
Supervisor Massa?
Aye.
Councilman Becerra?
Aye.
Councilman Reynolds?
Aye.
Councilman Dean?
Aye.
Councilman McKinney?
Aye.
All in favor? Thank you.
I have one more thing on there that's not on there. I don't know if you want me to talk where I am on the front door.
Yes, yes. Actually, we have,
Or do you have,
let's see. Councilman Martini has it, but we guys can do a joint, it's okay?
Yeah, it's fine. We might as well do it right now. So, go ahead, Frank.
so I've made contact with Petrello, who built the building now. So I met with him 2 weeks ago, nothing, and got back to me. I called BB Construction, they've done work for us down at the highway garage, and a couple other places. They met with me this morning at 11 o'clock. They took a look at everything. They're gonna propose to do everything. They're gonna propose to do the door, they're gonna propose to do the canopy, and they're gonna propose to do the work that's necessary for that office.
Meaning the remediation or?
Yeah.
Okay.
Cutting that sheet rock out and
Okay.
replacing it. We look back, we have carpet in the back that we still got left over. But they're gonna break it. So much for this, so much for this, so much for this.
Door canopy and then
I'm sorry. Did they give you an indication to, or input of how that may, the canopy, or the building construct, would it help with?
Yes, they went, they looked to make sure that the water isn't coming from the roof. I talked to Teresa, and she said the water never came from the roof. Always came from the door.
Under the door.
He's putting in, and that quote's also gonna be a new sidewalk in front of that door.
Yeah, just change the slope.
Yes.
Okay.
But
When we
he-
need the bid, it's probably gonna be costly, right?
Bid.
When we need to go out to bid, is it over 30?
I'm
Is
sure
that
it's
the
gonna
limit?
be
Yeah,
close
It's gonna be
to
well
that, yeah.
over, right?
Yeah,
Did you mention something, Rick, too, about Itama? You called them or something?
yes, I did, they haven't got back to me yet. I called them, and also called Hughes Construction. They worked a lot in New Hartford with Larry Adler at the time, a few years back. I gave them a call as well, no phone call return. So
Then he called Morrow, the glass company.
You know, he hasn't got back to me yet. So the only one was BB.
So he's gonna provide a quote to you?
gave me, he says the door aluminum around the door is gonna take probably 5 weeks. Architect, they're pretty busy, but we gotta get some way to design that canopy. And, so that'll be, he said, probably a couple of weeks. But, I told him we gotta get this fixed before I can do the other
Right.
as well.
Right. I think the door's fixed and moving to the office. so
Right.
They're not
But,
displaced for, but I understand, I've heard, I've checked around too, is that, 5-6 weeks is what I'm hearing for doors and things of that nature, so.
you know,
Yeah, so.
but I can also, I will make a second call to these other people, just to very, you know,
Yeah, hear what's going on.
see what's going on, you'll get back to me, what are you gonna do? Come look at the job. But once that, this will determine whether we gotta go out to bid or not.
Herb, even if we section that off, I mean, we're doing the doors one thing.
No,
Maybe we're actually packaging it all together as
you
one.
can't.
All right, so, all right, we're gonna package it all in one and get it sorted out.
So that's where we are.
Excellent, thanks, Rick, good job. From the library, and Ross, you're up.
Thank you for giving me the time to speak. First of all, I want to thank Rick again for all of the roads and keeping those clear, but also Anthony from the Parks Department. He does our sidewalks and our lot, and he is out there, like you said, every day. And it's freezing out there, so he is doing a wonderful job, so we appreciate that. In your packet, I did include our directors, the stats that I provide my board, and just so you know, everything that I've provided you is on our website as well for my board packet, which we meet the third Wednesday of each month. I did include our events for February. You will notice that when the schools slow down, we ramp up. We tend to increase our programming for the little ones. You can see also our December stats for programs. When they were off of school, we did pick up and did a lot of drop-in programs, and we are doing a lot of our health and wellness programs, a lot of yoga classes, basically. In December, we did 16. We're increasing that in the new year as well. And we've had over 190 people attend just those events. I did include our community room usage. 69 groups use our community rooms in December. So it depends on, the month, it'll vary. But it is a well-used place. The parking lot is often jam-packed. When things are going well there. We did start our bathroom remodels. Today we did our toilets, and our sinks will be done by next week. And then we will be, which is all part of that New York State construction grant that I mentioned to you previously. And we will be going out for bid to replace our roof under that grant as well. So as soon as the snow stops, hopefully we'll get that done. Because we already had a leak this year. So yeah, we can't wait to replace that. Do you have any questions for me?
No, great report, and these are things that I think the board and the community needs to hear as well, right? I mean, because sometimes everyone's busy, we don't get to know. You and I, we try to talk a couple times a month.
Yeah.
And I'll try to do it with all the department heads as well, because I think that's important, to keep that open dialogue. And again, great job. Funny story, I did, but my son and my wife, for his overdue library book, apparently classified as lost. But it's a great lesson.
Well, yes, because we went fine free.
Yeah.
So if they're kept longer, then we assume they're lost, but once you return it, it's free, so you're just good.
So he's got a project for AP Euro. And,
Yep, a lot of those.
So they plugged in the date, whatever, but it was, I just thought, because he actually emailed somebody there to ask to extend it, but the protocol really was either, I think you call or, you go through something, and I said, well, did he get an email back? He said, no. I said, well, that's a process of following up. So just because you send the email doesn't mean it's fixed, right? So I brought him down there with the letter, and the staff was outstanding.
Awesome.
And, we obviously reviewed it, and no fines, but the point was, it was a great lesson. They were just very professional, and you know, so, but I let him navigate through that because it's our life, right?
Right.
15 years old, he's gotta learn, and I had to bring his wallet. So, yeah, it was
It happens
great.
a lot with those AP Euro books, because they need them for a long time, so
We
yeah.
do, and I can't wait till next week. It was funny because they said, well, now you have it for the February 23rd. And he goes, well, can I return it earlier? And she says, she laughs, absolutely, you know, because I think the report's due next week, so, yeah, thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
I have a question, Fran. So, you all done?
I'm,
How'd you make out with your carpet and all that? I didn't get any updates.
Well, that kind of all took place in November, December, and December was kind of a lost month with the holiday and some family stuff I had going on. So we have not picked that back up again,
Okay.
because we're kind of waiting to see how things settled
Okay,
with you guys as well.
okay, I appreciate that. Well, thank you. Let us know. I mean, keep us updated.
Yeah, definitely.
Because I know that's very important to you guys.
Yeah.
Why didn't I get that done?
We would love to do it.
Okay, just a question, because I
No, I
haven't heard
appreciate
it.
it.
okay, thank you.
Thanks, Fran.
Move on to matters submitted by councilmen. We have Councilman Reynolds.
Fire inspections, we did 11 in January. Fees collected amounted to $10,869.89.
That's it. Took care of Hanover and Silver.
Yeah, we've already covered
Yep.
it. Covered that when the chief was too.
Yep.
This will
Councilman
be
Teahan.
online.
Dave, just a quick question. I know we had onboarded several additional fire inspectors last year. Obviously, the volume was pretty extensive and we needed to do a lot of catch-ups.
Right.
It doesn't look like a couple of them have had the need at least to go out and do many inspections. Do you feel we're caught up to a point where maybe we don't need 3 or 4 listed?
Well, it's still very early in the year, obviously. It's not costing us anything. They only get paid when they do an inspection.
I mean, you feel, I mean, Mike's doing fine on his own at this point?
Yes, yes.
Good.
Our, George is keeping track of that also.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, you make a good point. There's 2 that are not doing any. Occasionally, there'll be 1 or 2, but I think they should stay on. Again, it's not costing us anything.
Right, okay, good. I just had one item, I apologize, it's not on here, it came up as recent as yesterday, but as most of us know, the alternates for the zoning board and the planning board are good for 1 year. They had expired at the end of December 2025. Joe Shifty, who was an alternate for the planning board, has submitted his desire and intent to be reappointed as an alternate for the planning board. I'd like to make a motion to do that so we can ensure we have at least 1 alternate member available going into this part of the year.
So we
A
have
second.
motion by Councilman Teahan, second by Councilman Mattini. Any discussion? Michelle, are you ready? It would be a reappointment for 1 year, effective now, the term expires at 12/31/2026.
Is it effective retroactive?
We do effective.
Councilman Dean?
Aye.
Councilman Teahan?
Aye.
Councilman Reynolds?
Aye.
Councilman Prestera?
Aye.
Supervisor Costa?
Aye.
All in favor?
Anything additional? Councilman?
Oh, I'm sorry, no, I'm good, thank you.
I mean, because you've been on the other meetings.
Yeah, good.
I'm covered all night, Jim. I'm all set.
Councilman Prestera, just want to comment, because we did have a Sessions Road, was brought to my attention yesterday, water main break. And then want to talk about how you guys work together on that in terms of take care of residents and such.
Yeah, well, Rick called me about a couple of residents got flooded and all the ice broke and he asked me if I can get a crew out there, so I sent a crew out there and took care of it, so gotta work together.
Yep.
Thank you for that, Billy.
And then Rick, did you do any, salt or anything in the driveways or anything?
That's where
Yeah,
we're
it's
did the driveways?
Right,
Okay.
right. I've been checking, I checked them today, and this all is working pretty good. The people were,
Very satisfied.
they were satisfied.
So, and the break is, I mean, obviously we're seeing breaks all over the place, aliens have breaks and, you know, so.
We had 7 Monday, alone.
Really.
3 or 4 just the new hard.
When you say you sent it to the water board, when you say you sent it to the water board?
Yeah.
Well, thank you for that.
Good job, guys. Been a brutal winter, so. So far.
Next is just a couple of the executive session matters, discussing personnel matter pertaining to a town employee, and then we have police, do you want to talk about the verbiage on the police matter? Is that a?
I think the chief updated that.
I have, there's the personnel matter.
Personnel matter attached to the executive session, which is what's on the agenda.
So if we have a motion to go into executive session, motion by Councilman Latini. Second. Second by Councilman Teagan. Discussion. Roll call.
Councilman Latini?
Aye.
Councilman Dean?
Aye.
Councilman Reynolds? Councilman Fitzgerald?
Aye.
Supervisor Hessa?
Aye. 9:01, go into executive session.
Wait.
Right there. How you doing? Okay.
Cheryl,